Welcome everybody to our episode of TTRPGeeks this week. So tonight we are going to be playing the Defiant RPG by Machinery Games. This is basically an RPG that is set in a not post-apocalyptic, but current apocalyptic world where we are playing supernatural royalty. So we will get into the details of that in a minute. It's very neat. But first, let me introduce our cast tonight. With us with Level 1 Geek this week, we have myself, Chase, who is playing the GM for this campaign. We have Onduin, aka Erica, here with us. We have Emily. We have Wade, new to our Geek Guild with Level 1 Geek. We've got Katie in the background running production for us, so thank you, Katie. And then we have a guest with us today, Corinne Larinaga here. She is a friend and horror author. And is it just horror you do? You have some other books that aren't horror as well, right?
Yeah, mostly mystery and horror blended together.
Mystery and horror. So yeah, she's got some very cool stuff. And you actually have a new book coming out called Dawn's Legacy, which is part of your series. Is that right?
Yep, comes out tomorrow. I'm not stressed. Everything's fine.
Hey,
Congratulations.
I have read like a handful of your books and they are good. So I'm sure it's going to be great. Is there a place where one could best find your books if they were interested in it?
Yep, they're all on Amazon. You can get them usually through your local bookstores, and you can also order signed copies on my website.
Awesome. Very cool. But yeah, so that is Corinne joining us tonight. We're very excited to have her. Now, for this session today, we don't actually have characters made yet. We're going to be making the characters on the stream. Typically for these series, or these sessions, I should say, we were going to do a single session of this, but after like reading through it, the character creation of the system is so cool and it looks really fun. So we decided we're going to split it into two parts. So we're going to do our character creation and what they call a pilot episode today. And then on the 21st, we're going to continue it and we're going to do an actual full session with the characters that we make. Also, for anybody joining us tonight, we do have a giveaway, a copy of Defiant. So if you guys are interested in winning a copy of this game, which is super cool, use the command in chat, !enter. Everybody is limited to a single entry, and if you're a subscriber, you have slightly higher odds of winning. So definitely do that. It is worth it. Good system. All right. So I think that is it for introductions. Let's go ahead and get started into the actual game. Let's talk about Defiant. Defiant is a mostly narrative role-playing system. It's not super crunchy. Most of it is going to be a lot of heavy role play with minimal amounts of rolling. And the system is really defined by its setting. It has a very cool setting. So there is I could talk about the lore and the setting of this game for hours. It is so deep. It is a very in-depth rule book that is mostly about this world. So I'm going to give you guys the gist of it that you need to know, so you guys kind of know what we're doing and what we're building here. This world is set during the apocalypse. This isn't like a nuclear war apocalypse or anything. This is a divine apocalypse. Basically, all of the origins and the characters that we play in this setting are comprised of 4 origins. We have angels, we have devas, we have infernals, and we have leviathans. And all of them basically played a key role in the apocalypse and in this area that we're playing that is protected by the apocalypse. So pretty much the world is coming to an end. There's divine destruction that's happening everywhere. All of these different origins had a part to play in it, but there are these locations in the world that were protected by the apocalypse that are called domains. And domains basically came to being from these powerful magical seals called Sephira that were powered up and protected areas of the world. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the origins to kind of give you guys an idea of how this came to be. We have the angels. The angels, came down from the heavens. They were foretold to be like these frontline warriors of the apocalypse. So they were sent to Earth to kind of be the frontline warriors. They got human forms, which was super new for them. They kind of learned what it was like to be a person and have these emotions and feelings, which was all new to them. But some of them decided that when they got down there, they didn't want to destroy the world. They wanted to kind of experience these lives for themselves. So some of them became the Defiant, which is the characters we're going to be playing. They decided to help the Deva, who we'll talk about in a minute, power up these Sephira to create these domains. So what the Sephira basically is, it's a magical seal, which is powered by unique commandments to the Sephra. So the more obedient and the more devout you are to the Sephra, the stronger the Sephra becomes and the more protected your domain becomes. So the angels helped form this, as did the Deva. The Deva are basically the embodiment of human prayers. They are the old gods that had pantheons and worshippers. They have an animal aspect to them. And their part in the apocalypse was supposed to be basically helping with its destruction. And once the world had ended, they were going to ascend to true gods. But some of them had sympathy for humanity or wanted to just keep living lives of their own. So they also helped the angels power up the Sephra. The next origin we have are the Leviathans. These are basically the big apocalyptic beasts and the dragons. So they slumbered millennia ago, ready to wake up when the apocalypse happened, and they were just created for sheer destruction. But once they did wake up, which they woke up in their larva forms, which are kind of these human forms, which they'll be played in this system, some of them decided as well that, you know what, we don't want to destroy the world, we want to live our own lives. So some of them became defiant as well. They used powerful magic to seal their forms into their human forms so they didn't erupt into these huge apocalyptic beasts. And they pledged their loyalty to the Sephra and got in on the Defiant action. The final ones that we have are the Infernals. And these are basically people who were tortured down in hell. They had supernatural powers down there. Hell had a very tight defense. Nobody got out. But when the apocalypse started, its defenses weakened and some people were able to sneak out. These people were the Infernals. They have these infernal scars from their torture down in hell. And some of them immediately fled to the Sephra because they didn't want to go back down into hell. They didn't want to join that apocalypse. So they pledged their loyalty to the Sephra as well. So those are the 4 origins that we'll be playing in this system. And basically we are going to be playing in a unique domain. Something cool about this system is the domains are pretty much their own place. You can't really leave a domain. If you leave the domain, you're going out into the apocalypse. You're going to forget everything about what happened to you in the domain. You're likely going to die because, you know, there's like divine fury going on out there. So nobody really leaves the domain. And then alternatively, people don't typically come into the domain unless it's a very rare circumstance, somehow made it, you know, from one domain to another. And the apocalyptic creatures don't really typically get in. Sometimes they can. When they do, they're weakened depending on how powerful the Sephra is. But sometimes there can be some cracks in the defenses and one will slip in. And there's a variety of different kind of creatures that we may or may not go over in our session. We'll see how that goes. So yeah, that is our overall setting of Defiant. It's very cool. It's very unique in my opinion. Like I said, I could go into it for hours, but for now, I think we're just going to move on and we're going to go a little more zoomed in on the location we're going to be playing in. So the location we're going to be using, I'm using from the core rulebook. They have basically a pre-written adventure called Bridgewood Boulevard. So I'm going to be using the domain from the book, and we're going to be using the province of Bridgewood Boulevard. Just for ease, you can, they have rules in here for creating your own domains, your own Sephra, all of that. But we're going to use this as kind of like an anchor for it, just so we can kind of get a good feel for the game. Just for, you know, kind of a disclosure, none of us are Defiant Masters. This is our first time playing it together. So we're going through it for the first time. We read through the rule book. I did kind of a mock character creation to see how it goes. But we're kind of exploring it together for the first time. Also, we are playing this with 4 players. The game actually recommends 3 players, which is kind of unusual for TTRPG, but I read through it. You know, most people I think have a group of 4 for their RPG groups. That's like pretty standard. So we're trying it with 4. I think it should work out okay. But we shall see. So your guys' domain you're going to be playing in is called New Hethlin. So New Hethlin is its own full domain. It's broken down into districts, and the districts are broken down into provinces. So New Hethlin is located in the northern parts of the East Coast. New Hethlin is a large city with a vibrant, defiant society. New Hethlin is a place with traditions, and though some claim it's past its prime, thanks to the defiant creative forces and passions, it's now reinvigorated and booming with life. The domain has shared its share of turmoil for almost 30 years of peace and harmony. Traders from the cursed house of Camail, which is a house of angels, use their vile influence on the former Hierophant. Hierophant is pretty much the speaker of the Sephra Hierophant is the grand leader of every domain. It is chosen by the Sephra. Nobody really typically doubts their rule because they make the commandments to the Sephra. They are directly close to the Sephra. They're the most powerful in the society. So on the former Hierophant and led the Defiant on a dark path. Many lords and ladies couldn't stand the sins of the old regime. 2 years ago, they stood against the treacherous angels and fought bravely to restore the right order. The Sephra chose a new ruler, Hierophantess Angela Dawn, who introduced new commandments. Thanks to her, New Hethlin is a powerful and safe domain once more, although it will take some time for old wounds to heal. So that is New Hethlin. That's the domain we're going to be playing in. It's broken down into many districts. The district we're going to be playing in is Bridgewood, and the district is broken into provinces, and your province you'll be in is Bridgewood Boulevard. So some important things to note about our domain before we make our characters are the commandments. As I explained before, the Sephra is powered by being devout to the Sephra. Sephras have commandments, and yours has 3. The first commandment is to make an example of those who stray from the path. This law was introduced after the actions of Cursed House Kamale led to a civil war among the Defiant. It's interpreted mostly in 2 ways. First of all, no trespass can go unpunished. Second of all, members of House Kamale should repent for what they have done. Angels of Grace from this house have lost most of their titles and privileges and are now treated harshly by other Defiant. The second commandment is those of pure intentions do not cower from view. Many view secret machinations of House Kamale as the crucial element that led to corruption and the ultimate downfall of the old regime. That's why Defiant in the domain are supposed to treat secrets with the utmost suspicion. Why conceal your actions if you are not doing anything wrong? If you keep mostly to yourself, what is it you're trying to hide? Defiant know that it's not enough to simply refrain from keeping things clandestine. You have to prove your innocence and loyalty by being transparent and keeping as much of your affairs in the open as possible. So secrets are bad and a little bit taboo in this society. It doesn't mean they don't happen, but if you do, you're kind of going against that commandment. The third commandment is revel in the domain reclaimed. To give Sephra enough power to protect the city and keep everyone safe, Defiant need to forget about the troublesome past and enjoy their lives. The third commandment seems to stress that out further. There's no time for mourning or holding grudges. The Defiant should instead celebrate everything that they've achieved through the sacrifice. They should forget about the recent conflicts and animosities between houses. It is time to party, have fun, love, dance, drink, and play. The royals should enjoy life to the fullest rather than focusing on the problems of the past. So those are your commandments. So this is something you want to keep in mind as you're making your characters and making your plots. As I said, it's not like you're immediately destroyed or smote down if you break the commandments, but it's not a well looked upon thing if you do. And if you do, you're not getting the favor of the Sephra, which as a whole weakens the domain. There's a whole bunch of authorities that we're not going to go into in depth in this. They might come up during the, during the gameplay. But we'll just go over the most important part, which is going to be your province that you're in, which is Bridgewood Boulevard. Bridgewood Boulevard lies in Bridgewood District in the most tourist-oriented part of the city, with beautiful landmarks and old town buildings. The main street, called the Boulevard, runs through the historic center of New Hethlin, through pleasant plazas with lovely fountains and statues. There are many restaurants, cafes, and shops along the boulevard, as well as small but elegant hotels. The boulevard then leads to the riverbank and makes for a beautiful promenade decorated with flowers and trees. The most important person you guys are going to need to know about in your province is your Principessa. And the Principessa is basically the leader of the province. So she's an important authority figure for all of you to know. Her name is Amathea Zuriel. She has been the Principessa of Bridgewood Boulevard for many years, and the province thrived under her rule. Almost a year ago, however, a great tragedy changed her situation dramatically. Principess consort, which is her spouse, Roderick Dawn, was found dead on the outskirts of the city. Nobody knew what happened to him. His passing broke Amathea's heart, as the two were very close. She hasn't recovered from these disastrous events since, and the province's well-being suffered as a result. As time passed, more and more candidates to Principessa's hand began to arrive in Bridgewood Boulevard, trying to win her heart, but she is still mourning the passing of her husband, and she has not yet chosen a new spouse. As a result of her heartbreak, she did put a new law in place in the province. So in addition to the commandments, some of the provinces have their own law. This is one unique to your province, which is love brings only despair. Losing someone close to her heart made Principessa realize that true love is not a source of joy, but rather a cause for endless sorrow. The province law requires that relationships between Defiant are kept casual and non-exclusive, which is very notable to all of you because all of you are going to be married, because that is part of being a royal and it is part of your character creation. So that's going to add some interesting dynamics to your married relationships.
Can we be married to each other?
You can't. So, well, it depends. So no, you actually can't, because you guys are going to have your own separate courts. So if you're married to each other, you'd be sharing a court.
All right. I
But
guess
it's
I'll take my proposal off screen.
I'm a little bit sad, but okay.
Yeah. So marriage in like this system is sometimes, it's for love. Oftentimes though, it's for political moves. It's casual, and that will be kind of defined where character creation, we'll get there, but your relationship is kind of defined during character creation. It's kind of an important part of it. So I think that's pretty much all we need to go into for the setting. It goes in depth on a lot of the notable figures. You players, this is in the Bridgewood Boulevard brochure. So if you guys between like the stream want to kind of check into more details as you flesh out your character, there's a lot of information in there. Okay. So that's it for the scene. So I think now we're going to go ahead and we're going to start character creation. Now I should have mentioned this kind of at the start. We do have a mature warning on the stream for this one tonight. It's not going to be anything crazy graphic, but the nature of the system is a little bit more adult and mature than we typically have on our channel. So, there will be some sexual themes. There will be some themes of, unbalanced society. Some people have power over other people. So just a warning for everybody watching, that'll be some themes. We will treat it respectfully. And we have, as a group, gone over lines and veils. So we should be respectful of that. And we have all discussed that off screen as well. But for you players, if anything's ever making you uncomfortable or you don't like it, you can call for a veil, or you can just X card it and we will immediately move on and skip over that subject. So for you players, let's have you guys go ahead. Now, the neat thing about this system is they have very nice character creation cards. So character creation is both very in-depth, but also a little bit random. The players are going to be dealt different cards that are going to slowly flesh out their character. They get options of cards. They choose one or several to keep in each category. And then those cards have more choices on their traits and their aspects of their character. So I have the cards all printed out here, and I'm going to go ahead and shuffle these. I'm going to deal them out to you the 2020 way, where you guys have a sheet of all the cards. And so I will tell you the card names. You guys will look over them, referencing that sheet, and then we will go over them. And this is going to flesh out your character. So you guys ready with that? Do you guys have your card sheet pulled up? Cool.
Yes.
So the first step in character creation is you guys are going to pick several themes, and the themes are going to flesh out your character. Each theme is going to give you traits and questions, and we'll go over those as we get there. But the first set of themes is going to be your origin theme. So this is going to define which origin you're playing. So, Corinne, we're going to start with you.
All right.
Your options are the Siren Leviathan and the Ardent Angel. So you can go ahead and take a look at those while I dish out the rest. You're going to pick one of those to keep, and the other one will just go away.
Okay.
Erica, you have the Thirst Deva and the Executioner Infernal. So go ahead and note those down, take a look at those. M, yours is going to be the Pure Angel or the Fate Dealer Infernal. Wade, yours is going to be the Divinity Deva or the Primordial Leviathan.
May I ask a clarifying question?
Yes, you sure can.
Okay, so the thirst, when it means to feed on others, does that mean literal or more of like a spiritual sense?
So I think it is either. I think your traits further down are going to kind of define that a little bit.
Okay. I didn't know if there was like a pre-con, this is how it's going to go, and blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Yeah.
You gave me some real interesting ones.
Yeah, everybody got a pretty like right here. It's pretty neat. So yeah, so for anybody who's watching, while they kind of look over these cards have some traits on them. basically the way that this system works is whenever you need to roll a challenge, which is like, it's similar to any TTRPG, you need a roll to see an outcome. You have a potential. Your dice pool starts at 3d6. 5s and 6s are successes. And for every potential, you upgrade your lowest dice size to a d8, or if all of them are d8s, to d10s. And you gain potential through your traits. You're going to make an argument with me as the GM. I think this trait and this trait and this trait applies. And I can say, this affliction and this affliction applies. And that gives me a total number of potential to determine how big your dice pool is. So that's what traits do. And there's also questions that each of them have on these cards. And you have a resource called shards in this system. Everybody starts with 10. They all regain them in their own unique ways. Shards represent your connection to the Sephira. And at any time, you can spend a shard during a narrative to ask me a question, and I have to answer the question in an affirmative in a way that would benefit your character. So these are things you can use to twist the narrative in your favor based on your character you're building. So when one of you has your decision ready, just raise your hand and we'll just start going through them together. Okay, Wade, let's start with you. What is your decision?
Cannot hear you.
Oh, cannot hear you, sir.
Speak up.
Primordial Leviathan.
Primordial Leviathan.
Oh,
Right.
yes.
So Primordial Leviathan, you can barely hide the ancient beast inside you. That's their kind of flavor text here. So you have 3 trait categories. You're going to pick one from each of these. And you're going to add those as traits to your character sheet. So for you players now, you have several character sheets. Yours will now be the Leviathan character sheet. So Wade, is your character's glare threatening, hypnotic, powerful, or noble?
Let's go threatening.
Okay, so you have a threatening glare. That's a trait on your sheet. Is your draconic form swift, beautiful, regal, or hardened?
Let's do hardened.
Okay, hardened draconic form. Is your legacy war, terror, conquest, or chaos?
Conquest.
Okay. And then these are the questions that you can ask. So these become your abilities. These are what I have to answer in an affirmative if you spend a shard. What here is the most valuable? What do they struggle to control? Who here takes an interest in my draconic outlook? So you can ask me those questions at any time for a shard, and I twist the narrative to fit the question. Now, you have some special rules with each of these cards. These are just something that this kind of adds to your character sheet. You're going to have a point when you're going to choose some draconic features. When you do, you have 2 additionals. So we'll get there when we get there. You can also spend a shard to let the ancient beast overtake you. Declare what you want done and make a challenge to see how well the beast fares. So you let your whole dragon side take over and take a challenge for you pretty much. Now there's also trouble on each of these cards. You guys are going to get several pieces of trouble. So basically what happens is whenever we roll for a challenge, if your dice pool has even a single 1 and you didn't spend a shard on the roll, you're going to increase your trouble track. It goes all the way up to 4. And at any point you can choose to trigger the trouble yourself. And you basically take the narrative. You have the trouble happen on your own terms. The higher your track, the worse it's going to be. You're going to get afflictions for it. Or if you ever let it reach 4, it goes off on its own and I get full control of it. And I'm not going to be as nice. So that's kind of how the trouble works. The trouble you add for this one, Wade, is something gets destroyed by the beast. Okay. So that is Wade. Erica, which one did you choose?
I chose the Executioner.
The Executioner Infernal. Okay.
Yes.
So you might have escaped hell, but that doesn't mean your purpose has changed. So do you judge wise, perspective, respected, or knowledgeable? So I guess you are a judge of sorts. So are you wise, perspective, respected, or knowledgeable?
Perceptive.
Okay, perceptive judge. Your juror side, are you an empathetic, likable, tireless, or diligent juror?
Likeable.
Okay. Are you a fearsome, stealthy, cunning, or brutal executioner?
Cunning.
Okay. So those are your 3 traits. You'll add each of those as a trait to your character sheet. You get the questions: who here craves punishment the most? Who here wants to confess to me? or what here goes against the rules? Those are your shard questions. Your special rules is whenever you use someone's guilt or bring up their wrongdoings to gain advantage, increase your potential by 2 in a challenge. Also, you can spend a shard to find a person of your choice in their moment of weakness, vulnerability, or transgression. My choice. And your trouble is someone enacts their revenge for your former judgment. So go ahead and add all this to your character sheet. Em, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, which one did you choose?
I'm going to play the Fate Dealer Infernal.
The Fate Dealer Infernal. Okay.
This is going to be a lot of work for you as a GM, so I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm excited. I like
Okay.
a challenge. You can use the tricks you've learned in hell to bend fate to your will. So are your tricks dirty, flashy, concealed, or deadly?
They are concealed.
Okay, concealed tricks. Is your smile mysterious, irresistible, honest, or sinister?
Irresistible.
Irresistible smile. Are you an expert on fights, romance, mortals, or science?
Fights.
Fights. Okay. I should mention, since mortals came up, mortals are still existing in this universe. You guys as a Defiant are supernaturals. You are the royalty. You run things now. Inside these domains, there's a spell going on called the Carnival, which basically makes all the mortals not realize anything bad's happening. As far as they know, apocalypse isn't happening. Everything's fine. And they exist in your society. They are just beneath you, so to speak. Okay. Your questions you get is, what games are played here? What have I just gained through sheer luck? Or who here is feeling lucky tonight? And your special rules you get is when you make a bet with someone, make a challenge to bend fate in your favor, or you can spend a shard to change one rule or stakes of the game that you were playing. So, bit of a swindler.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Corinne, do you have yours picked?
Yes, I'll be the Siren Leviathan.
Okay. No angels here today. We got Leviathans and Infernals. Okay. So rather than focusing on your own hunger, you meddle with the desires of others. So are you disciplined in mind, body, emotions, or mien?
Emotions.
Main? Is that how you say
Mean.
it? Mean. That's right, mean. Okay. So you're disciplined in emotions.
Mhm.
Are your exploits shame, lust, jealousy, or vanity?
Vanity.
Okay, you exploit vanity. Are your words seductive, honest, deceiving, or wise?
Seductive.
Seductive words. Okay, so the questions you add is, what is the most desirable gift that they could get now? What don't they know about their desires? Whose desires are about to get the better of them? Your special rules is when planning the endeavor. Endeavors are basically like drawn out challenges that are going to have several steps. It's not a single roll. You're going to have to work for them over a period of time. So when planning the endeavor, if you cater to the desires of the relevant NPCs, you shorten the progress track. You can spend a shard to give someone a desire of your choice that counts as a minor affliction, which is pretty cool. And your trouble is you become entangled in someone's extreme desires. And I actually think I forgot to mention your trouble, Em. Your trouble is you need to pay the price for fate's favor, which is a pretty intense one.
That is pretty intense. Question, Chase.
Yeah.
Did we skip themes, or is that at a later point?
So those are themes. So
Okay.
this is your origin theme. So it's a theme that defines your origin. And then
Cool.
we're now going to add on to that by just picking kind of generalized themes.
Cool.
That's the next step. So you guys have your origin. So as you guys are adding traits and questions, you add all of them from each of these themes you pick. So I'm going to dish you guys out more cards, and you guys are going to pick. I'm giving each of you 3 this time, and you're all going to pick 2 of them. So, Corinne, you have the Socialite, the Aegis, and the Guide. Erica, you have the Power Play, the Weaver, and the Goliath. M, you have the Prodigy, the Wealth, and the Warrior. Wade, you have the Shadow, the Gem, and the Ars Armandi. So,
Oh
take a
man,
look
those are
over.
cool. How do you pick one? This is fine.
How do you pick 2? You got to pick 2.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, so these ones, they're going to work pretty much the same way. The only difference to these ones is they obviously have different traits on them, and they're not origin specific. These are more generalized, but they will just add it to your character sheet. So whenever somebody has two of them picked, raise your hand and we'll go over them. Okay, Erica, what two are you? What's your first one? I should say.
The first one's gonna be power.
Okay, the power play.
Yep.
Okay, so the power play. You are enthralled by the game of domination and submission. So, are you a mastery of submission, domination, discipline, or pain?
Discipline.
Okay, master of discipline. Your expertise is bondage, punishment, teasing, or psychology.
Psychology.
Okay. You know all about fashion, contraptions, rules, or pleasure.
Ooh. Rules.
Okay, you know all about rules. Your questions you add are what power play is in effect here, who holds power over them, or what type of master or slave do they long for. Your special rules is whenever you are showing off your slaves, get a trait admired. Whenever you're showing off your submission, by acting or dressing in a specific way, gain a trait of empowered. You can spend a shard to make someone think fondly about dominating you or submitting to you, your choice. And then your trouble is your slave gets into trouble or your master gets you into trouble. So you add those onto your character sheet there.
All right.
And you were the executioner, right?
Correct.
Good. Okay, what's your second one?
The weaver.
The weaver. Weaving plots and schemes into existence is your true passion. So your modus operandi is manipulation, gossip, intelligence, or threats.
Manipulation.
Manipulation. Your area is bloodline, province, romance, or covert.
So what exactly is area?
So this is like kind of like an expertise area. So you have an area of expertise in bloodlines, province, romance, or covert.
Go for bloodline.
Okay. So some of these are generalized. I don't think you have to pick a bloodline for this one. Some of them like make you whittle it down a little bit, but I think that one was going to say you're good at bloodlines. You know all about them. Okay. Questions you add is what would it take for them to agree to blank? What are they standing within blank? Or who here is doing something they shouldn't?
Oh, we forgot about thrives.
Which one?
Thrives during banquets, tournaments.
Yeah, thank you.
Duty.
Yes. You thrive during banquets, tournaments, intimacy, or duty.
Banquets.
Thrive during banquets. Nice. Okay. So special rules is you don't have to mark setbacks on endeavors. That's basically when you have those long tasks, if things go poorly somewhere else, it can give you a setback on your endeavor. So you don't have to mark that at the beginning of each episode. You still have to mark setbacks if you emerge as a result of a challenge. So at the start of each episode, you'll mark a setback on your endeavors. You don't have to do that. Yep. You can spend a shard to have a rumor instantly circulating throughout the province that you're in. It can be true, half true, or complete fiction. So you just get to circulate a rumor. And then your trouble is someone you owe a favor comes to collect the debt. Okay.
Thank you.
Who's up next? Okay, Em, what do you got?
Okay, so I'm going to go with the warrior and the wealth.
Okay. The warrior. You have the soul of a warrior and a matching set of skills. Your fighting style is ruthless, collected, flashy, or stealthy.
Stealthy.
Okay. Your weapon is unarmed, concealed, melee, or firearms.
Concealed.
Concealed weapons. You have strengths in athletics, will, awareness, or endurance.
Awareness.
Okay. You have these questions. Who here poses the biggest threat? What fight is about to break out? Who here is the most vulnerable? Special rules is you cannot be outnumbered regardless of the number of enemies. You always count as outnumbering against a single foe. Spend a shard to completely negate all afflictions that you have until the end of the scene. One of your afflictions gets worsened afterwards, so you can shrug something off for a little bit. And your trouble is an old enemy or casualty appears fully prepared.
It's a problem. That's fine.
I already see a character fleshing out. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, for sure.
And you said the wealth is your second one?
Yep.
Okay. You have unlimited resources on hand, and you can easily have anything money can buy. So you know how to impress, charm, bribe, or party.
Bribe.
You know how to bribe. You have assets of fortune, corporation, priceless collection, or a crime syndicate.
Crime syndicate.
Okay, nice. Your goods are illegal, supernatural, high tech, or perverse.
Illegal.
Illegal goods. Your questions are: how can they be bought? How would I outshine them through my wealth? Or how does this profit my wealth? Your special rules is every time you advance an endeavor, if using your wealth could help, mark an additional step. And name anything from the mortal world that money can buy. You will get it by the end of the episode. If you need it right now, spend a shard to get it instantly. So that seems pretty handy.
A little bit. And my
You guys
trouble.
you guys all know how to mooch on now. Oh, your trouble, yes. Why do I keep forgetting your troubles? I guess I still want to give you trouble. You are in imminent danger because of your wealth.
That ties well with my old enemy.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. Who's up next, Corinne or Wade? Corinne,
I'll
you
go.
ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay. Which two are you picking?
I will do the socialite and the Aegis.
I love the socialite. It's like my favorite one.
Excited about it.
Okay. You live for ostentatious balls, private parties, and thrive in social situations. So are you acclaimed planner, connoisseur, lover, or stylist?
Planner.
Okay. Acclaimed planner. Your favorite parties are formal, kinky, intimate, or wild?
Intimate.
Intimate parties. Your defiant circle is celebrities, rebels, degenerates, or elite?
Only the most elite.
Yes, nice. Okay, your questions are who useful do I know here? How is this party about to get more blank? Or what interesting rumors have I heard about them? Your special rules is you can enter any club or party, no matter how private, unless you are specifically banned from the event. And when at a party, spend a shard to tell the GM about one person present or one event rule that's set by the host. Your trouble is a threat to your reputation or social standing. Okay, and your second one was which one?
The Aegis.
The Aegis. Okay. Through supernatural powers, you are close to being invulnerable. So you are resistant to pain, arcane, impact, or intoxication.
Intoxication.
Nice. Fits well at the parties.
Yeah.
You are unmoved by emotions, intimidation, charm, or shame.
Intimidation.
Unmoved by intimidation. Your presence is flawless, tough, trustworthy, or inscrutable.
Oh, trustworthy. Anyone can tell me anything.
Wonderful. Okay. Your questions you add are what am I the only one resistant to here? What breach is there in their defenses? Or who needs protection? Your special rules are you can take all damage someone is about to receive. You can take a challenge if you want to lower the severity of the received affliction. So basically damage in this game, there's minor, major, and severe afflictions. You can have 3 of each. If you have no more slots for affliction, you die or are taken out of the game basically in some way, or something really terrible is going to happen. So when somebody would get afflictions, you can instead take those afflictions for them and try to lessen them. You can spend a shard to change an affliction into a lesser one, or merge up to 3 afflictions into one of the same severity. You can also rename it.
Sweet.
So afflictions kind of work like backwards of traits. Instead of traits increasing your potentials, afflictions will reduce it in the given circumstances. Okay. Wade, you picked your 2?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what do you got?
I have the shadow, first off.
The shadow. Okay. Everybody has secrets. You are an expert at learning and using them for your benefit. So this one's a bit of like a taboo and also excellent asset with your current commandments of secrets being bad. Your impression is unobtrusive, naive, attractive, or trustworthy.
Let's do attractive.
Attractive impression. Your talents are senses, stealth, searching, or evasion.
Stealth.
Okay. Stealth is a trait for you, a talent for you. You are specialty in scandals, blackmail, investigation, or impersonation.
Investigation.
Okay, and your questions you add are: what are they trying to hide? What here is not what it seems? Or who here has a secret that I happen to know? And your special rules is you can't be registered by any camera, alarm, and other electronic or mystical device unless you choose to be. You can spend a shard to eavesdrop on any conversation happening in sight. And your trouble is one of your secrets haunts you. Oh, I think I missed your
Awesome.
Aegis trouble, Corinne. Your trouble for the Aegis is someone has breached your defenses. Okay, what's your second one, Wade?
The gem.
The gem. Okay. Your allure is exceptional even by the standards of the Defiant. So your eyes are seductive, innocent, mesmerizing, or confident.
Confident.
Okay. Your remarkable trait is your naked body, grace, voice, or touch.
Oof. Let's go with Grace.
Okay, your grace
Tough
is
choice, though.
remarkable. Oh yeah. You appeal to a specific origin, a specific gender, a specific status, or a personality.
Origin.
Okay,
And I'm going to do Leviathan.
Okay, you appeal to Leviathans. And your questions is, who here will do anything to claim me? How am I the center of this event? What token of appreciation am I about to receive? Your special rules is you can make a challenge to put someone under your spell. They can't stop thinking about you, and winning your heart or claiming you becomes their highest priority. You can also spend a shard to make anyone you know show up in the scene looking for you. Your trouble is unwanted attention from someone dangerous. Okay, so those are your themes. So you guys should now have 9 unique traits on your character sheet. You should also have 9 unique questions that you can ask me for shards. You should have 3 troubles, and you should have a handful of special rules. I believe it's 6 should be the total special rules. Now, the next step in this is you guys can make a trait of your own. So you have all this list of traits from these cards. You guys now make up one on the spot. So think of a trait that you want to add to your character. I'll let you guys think on that for a little bit, and in the meantime, we'll go to the next step, and then we'll bounce back to those.
Didn't it? If I'm remembering the correct rule, we can technically choose a trait that's pre-done that somebody hasn't picked.
Yeah,
Is
if
that
you
true?
want to. Yeah.
Okay.
It can be
Sometimes
anything.
I'm not good at picking stuff on the spot.
Right. Yeah. If you want to look at some of the other cards for for inspiration, that's
Perfect.
totally fine. It can be anything you want. I mean, it should be something good because it's a trait.
Okay.
But traits can also be perspective. Like maybe being drunk is good at some point. Who knows? Okay. All right. So next, what you guys are going to do is another decision. So you guys have your themes. You guys are now going to choose a house. This one's not randomized. The houses just have to fit your origin. So every origin has 3 houses. And if you guys look at the card sheet, they're the ones in dark blue. Like there's like House Kyrios, which has a Deva. So they have the origin underneath of it, and then they have the headliner. So go ahead and pick a house. You guys can choose the same house if you want. If you do, you're just going to be family through your bloodline in some way. So go ahead and let me know when you guys have that picked. Something notable, there's one house that has something a bit special. And I believe it is... You find the one.
Octu.
Yep, that's the one. They have they have 2 spouses. So that's unique about them. If you pick that house, but none of you guys are Davis, so that won't apply.
Poor Davis are getting neglected.
I know, right? No Devas or angels. Got those Leviathans and Infernals. Let me know when somebody's ready with their house, and we'll talk about it.
I do. I have mine.
Cool. What's your house, Wade?
Shemesh.
House Shemesh. Go and get that one up here. All right, so House Shemesh are the fire Leviathans. So, Leviathans are pretty much dragons. He descends from fire dragons. The creed of House Shemesh is true rulers are forged in flames. The mightiest of the ancient beasts, the fire Leviathans, were destined to end the world in their draconic flames. Members of House Shemesh feel that all other Defiant owe them gratitude for rejecting their destiny and granting the world a second chance. They are the most disdainful and dogmatic among the Leviathans. Now, each of your houses has a custom. These are like pretty in depth, so I'm just going to give the name of it. It's basically a special tradition for the house. You players can read about them in the core rulebook. After this, you can just Control F it in the PDF for the custom name, and you should find it. Yours is the Sacred Companion. As a Leviathan, you have an attuned element, which is fire for you. And then they have some examples of the names on the card here to kind of help name your character. So you don't have to go over that right now for the name, but you can start thinking about it. And then I'm also going to take a look here at the Leviathan character sheet, because I think this is the best time to talk about kind of your special abilities. So each of the character sheets has some special rules for them. So you have an elemental blessing, which is basically you are immune to your attuned element, which is fire. So fire can't hurt you, which is pretty neat. You also have draconic features. Are you the one who had the extra draconic features, Wade?
I am.
Cool. So draconic features are any feature of a dragon. So all of you Leviathans always have your royal horns. So you don't always have them. You can manifest them or you can unmanifest them. But you have horns, and typically Leviathans will have one other feature of a dragon, but you have 3 others because you're the primordial Leviathan. So what 3 draconic features do you want?
Let's go claws, tail, and scales or dragon skin.
Okay. So dragon scales, claws, and tail, you said?
Yeah.
Very cool. So yeah, so whenever these are visible and you have them manifested, they can count as a trait for any applicable situation.
Ooh, actually, can I change the dragon scales to eyes?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Draconic eyes. That's neat. Who doesn't want some awesome draconic eyes?
Right.
You have an ability called the Seals. Whenever you spend a shard before a challenge and your royal horns are visible, you can get an additional +1 to your potential. However, if you roll a 1 on any of the dice, you get a minor beast affliction. So a little bit of risk and reward there. So yeah, whenever you guys want to roll for a challenge, if you guys spend a shard, same way you would spend one ask a question, you add an extra dice to your pool and it starts at a D8. So when you do that, you get an extra +1 to your potential. You get the D8, but if you roll a 1, then you get an affliction. And then you also have a unique way of regaining shards. We're probably not going to go over that super in depth because we're not doing like a full length campaign, but every origin has their own awesome way of regaining shards. It's very flavorful, fun part of the game for long drawn out campaigns. Okay. So that's your house. Has anybody else picked? Who wants to go next? Erica, what house did you pick?
I picked House Joy, Infernals of Guilt.
House Joy, Infernals of Guilt. Okay.
This was
here
hard
it
to
is.
pick.
Right? The houses are all super cool.
Is that a
Yeah.
problem if I also picked it? I can go for another one.
We're gonna be
Totally fine. If you
relative.
want to. I mean, if you would rather have your own unique house, you can. If not, you guys are you have your own courts. Your courts are still separate.
Okay.
You guys are just from the same bloodline.
Interesting. Okay,
Oh.
go through with Erica and I'll think.
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome. So your creed is rejoice. While other infernals tend to reminisce about their demonic legacy and the horrors of hell, House Joy has taken a different approach. Rather than dwell in the past, the Infernals of Guilt are focused on making up for the lost time. They revel in the exciting experiences and pleasures the Defiant world has to offer. Your custom is the Chrysalis. Again, that one you can read about in the core rulebook. And you have a Grim Craft as an Infernal. And your Grim Craft from this house is Guilt. So you can basically, we'll get into that in a little bit for your special rules. And then they've got some examples of names there for you.
I actually picked the name that's on there. I liked Anastasia.
Anastasia, very cool. So that means, and in your house name is your last name. So you're Anastasia Joy. And
Oh,
there's your character's name.
oh, it's such a pretty name for such a dirty, terrible character.
Very nice. I'm excited to see how it plays out. So as Infernals, your special rules are your true name. You have a true name that only a handful of people know. When you use its power after rolling, when you use its power after rolling a dice in a challenge, you can re-roll any number of dice. However, someone new will learn your true name at my discretion. And that's a thing you as an Infernal don't really like. You don't like people knowing your true name. It's very personal. You have your Grim Craft, which yours is Guilt. During your time in hell, you use this to punish your victims in a certain way. Like all the Infernals from your bloodline, it became a part of you. you can use a question. How can I make them feel true guilt in the same way as the theme questions by spending a shard? So you can make people feel guilt. You also have a feature you pick called Hellish Scars. So you can spend a shard to show off your hellish scars from the remainder of the scene. When visible, they count as a trait. If you have at least one major affliction, you can show your scars without the cost of a shard. So these are like your torture scars from when you were in hell. You can kind of decide how they look, and that is a feature of your character. And then you as Infernal have your own unique way of regaining shards.
And the scars are visible at all times, or I can choose to have them be?
You can choose to have them be.
Okay.
And you get empowered when you do.
I'm thinking cosplay and makeup wise here.
Yeah, basically the way I imagine, if I read it correctly, is like they're typically hidden because all Defiant are like beautiful, at least in some way, right? So your scars aren't always there visible, but like you can have them manifest, and you know they probably look very unpleasant.
Okay.
But they're a symbol. Okay, Emma, Corinne, who's next?
Go ahead, Corinne.
Okay,
Alrighty.
what you
I'm
got?
gonna do House Melkart.
House Malcart. It's going to be a fun one for the scenario I have planned.
Oh, sweet.
Okay, so House Malcart is the Earth Leviathans. So your creed is your horde shall inspire awe. The members of the House Melkart are like the dragons of legends, amassing impressive hordes of treasures. Some Earth Leviathans surround themselves with the yields of their element, gemstones or jewelry made of precious metals. Others collect man-made items or even gather interesting mortals. Your custom is the Dragon Horde, which you can read about. Your attuned element, unlike Wade's, is Earth, so you are immune to anything you can convince me of being Earth-related. And then you have got some examples of names. I'm going to go back to the Leviathan sheet here. So you have your royal horns and then one other draconic feature. So what's your other feature?
Wings.
Wings.
Oof.
Awesome. Gotta love the dragon wings. And then you have the same ability as Wade, the seal. So whenever you do a challenge, you can present your horns and take the risk reward of better result. But if you roll one, you get an affliction.
Okay.
Okay. So that is for you. Em, that leaves it to you. Are you sticking with House Joy or did you change?
I went to Dawn.
Okay. House Dawn, which is the Infernals of Shame. So your creed is uphold our legacy. The descendants of the first mortal to ever be sentenced to live in hell, who eventually became demons themselves. Now the proud Infernals of Shame came back to the mortal world to reclaim all that has been taken from them. To be a devoted member of the house is to always strive for more, improve one's standing, and accumulate power. Your custom is a sacred bond. You can read about that in the rulebook. And your grimcraft is shame. So going back to the infernal sheet here, you have your true name. Same thing as Erica. Your grimcraft works the same way, but your question is, how can I make them feel true shame? And then you also have your hellish scars, which you'll need to decide what they look like. Okay. That is it for our house. Have any of you guys decided what your custom trait will be?
Yeah. I was thinking modus operandi, intelligence.
Okay, there you go. What about you, Corinne? You had one?
My character knows how to charm.
Knows how to charm. Awesome. Wade or Erica, you guys have one yet?
Yeah, I was going to do weapons master.
Weapons master. Very cool. Okay, Erica?
I have not decided.
No worries. We'll come back to it. Okay, next step in the character creation is more cards. You guys excited for more cards?
Okay, do we not do
names?
the marital themes or court themes yet?
Oh, we have not done those quite yet.
Okay.
So actually,
Most
I
excited
have
for that.
found one.
Oh, you found one? Yeah, what is it?
Yeah, so I was just looking at the basic traits, and the very first one, the mesmerizing eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that.
Mesmerizing eyes. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, and you are Anastasia Joy. Yeah, does anybody else have their name yet?
Yes.
What's your name?
Ruby Dawn.
Ruby Dawn. It's a nice name. Do you have one yet, Wade?
Yes. Thargon. Shemesh.
Thargon Shemesh.
It's a good name.
You have one yet, Corinne? No pressure if you don't. We can come back to it. Names are hard. I'm terrible at names. I can relate. It takes me so long to think of a name. I have like a name list of NPCs, and M was kind enough to do it for me because I was like, I can't come up with this many names. All right. So yeah, now we're getting to the marital cards. So that is the next step. So these are going to work the same way as the themes, but these are going to start defining your spouse. You guys are married, you have courts and courtiers, and basically your spouses are important because they're going to play a part in your story, but also you can use them to help you in the scene. And we'll get to that when we get to that. But let me shuffle these up, and we'll start with Corinne again. I'm giving you guys 2. You pick one. You have Voice of Heart or Newlywed. Erica, you have Eager Admirer or Shared Legacy. M, you have Perfect Companion or Best Friends. And Wade, you have Influential Lover or Political Union.
Oh man.
I really wanted Perfect Companion.
You want a perfect companion? Or you want me to choose perfect
No, I
companion?
wanted Perfect Companion. So I'm jealous.
All right. Let me know when one of you guys has one. Raise your hand, and we'll start going over some marital statuses.
Chat has chosen for me.
Okay. Which one? did
Perfect
chat just write?
companion.
Perfect Companion. Okay. Very nice. Now, keep in mind, as you guys are thinking about your marital statuses, your province law is you're supposed to keep it casual, which is very interesting in a marital relationship. So, Perfect Companion is going to M. Your spouse has been raised to be a perfect companion. They are very competent and know how to manage court affairs. The problem is they are your exact opposite, and it's hard for you to get along. So perfect companion in the way that they work well with your court, but not necessarily with you. So you are going to choose the gender, origin, and house of your spouse. So I think I'm gonna go over these cards, and then I'm gonna go to somebody else. We're gonna cycle back so you guys have a bit to think about this.
Cool.
It's like Baldur's Gate status. You're gonna decide what your lover looks like. Write down one positive thing about your relationship, and you're going to write down 2 things that you despise about your spouse. Also, you're going to give your spouse an archetype. Their archetype is exceptional. Whenever you guys have an exceptional trait that applies to a scene, it's 2 potential instead of 1. An archetype is going to be defined by 2 descriptors. So some examples are vigilant sentry, grumpy guard, spoiled brat, things like that. So you're going to give 2 words that give an archetype to your spouse. And then when we get to the courts, you're going to add this to your court traits, which is obedient, cooperative, or productive. You're going to choose one of those. And your starting standing with your spouse is 1, which is very low. So start thinking about those. Has someone else picked theirs? Okay, Corinne, what's yours?
Newlywed.
Newlywed. Okay. You've married only recently, and quite frankly, you know very little about your spouse. They were chosen for you, and you accepted your fate. So you're going to choose the gender, origin, and house of your spouse. You're going to write down 1 good thing you've learned about your spouse so far. And I'm going to write down 2 bad things that you do not know about them yet. So that's just going to be in my secret notes. And I will use them for this session. Your spousal archetype is regular, so not exceptional, but you'll still give them an archetype, same as I said for M. You add the court trait high hopes, and your starting standing is 3, which is average. Okay, so you want to start thinking about those. Erica, what's yours?
I did, shared legacy.
Shared legacy. Where did yours go? There. Okay. Shared legacy. Your consort comes from your bloodline and is considered an exemplar member of the house. So you're going to choose the gender of your spouse, but they do come from your house and your origin, so they will match that. You're going to write down 1 positive thing about them, and you're going to write down the house value they're zealous about. Their archetype is regular, not exceptional, so you're going to pick an archetype for them. You get a court affliction, which is like a trait, but it's going to lessen your potential when it's used. Your court affliction is a minor one called biased rule. And your starting standing is 3, which is average. Wade, you picked yours?
Yes, sir. The influential.
The influential lover. Your spouse is closely associated with a powerful defiant, making them well-connected and influential. However, there is a price to pay for such an alliance. So you're going to choose the gender, origin, and house of your spouse. Write down one positive thing about your spouse, and you're going to choose one thing your spouse's powerful lover demands of them: to spend a lot of time with them, to adhere to their wishes and rules, to attend social gatherings with them, or something else. So your spouse has another lover and it has to have one of those traits with it. Your archetype is a regular one. You have a court trait of well-informed, and your starting standing is 5, which is very high. So we'll come back to you. Em, have you decided on some of your details? Can't hear you.
I know, sorry. Okay, so yes, chat requested that I swap because they didn't like the way that it sounded for the other one.
Oh,
So,
okay.
I went to best friends.
Best friends.
And then I chose to have a wife, so female. I can't scroll for some reason. Origin is the ardent, so an angel. And
so for the origin, you don't get like a theme, so they'll just be
Okay.
an angel.
all right, that's fine.
Mhm.
The house is Zeruel. I should have picked one that I
Zuriel?
could pronounce. Yes.
Very cool. Okay, so
Can you say it again?
Zuriel.
Zuriel. Thank you.
I might be saying it wrong too, but I'm saying it confidently, so it's confident.
Okay.
Okay. What makes them a great friend?
Oh, I didn't get that far.
That's okay. We'll come back to you because you swapped.
Okay.
Corinne, you are the newlywed. Do you know the gender, origin, and house of your spouse?
Yes, she is a female Deva. Her name is Echo, and she is from House Kyrios.
Very cool. That's an awesome name. I love it. I'm just curious. Do you know what her animal aspect is?
No.
Okay, that's
Any
good.
suggestions?
No. Just
Okay.
be thinking about it because Davis have animal aspects to them.
Okay.
Write down one good thing you've learned about your spouse so far.
Come back to me.
Okay, come back to you on that. And I already have the bad things, and they're in my notes. Okay, so that's it for yours. Erica, you ready with some of yours? Can't hear you.
Kind of, maybe, sorta.
Okay, we'll go to Wade then. Wade, you look like you've got ideas.
Oh yes,
Okay,
all this
so
stuff.
you're the influential lover. So do you know the gender, origin, and house of your spouse?
Yeah, female Leviathan, House Hadad.
Okay, very cool.
She's
What's one
powerful.
What's one positive thing about your spouse? Is it that she's powerful?
You know, I feel like that's already given. So I put competent, but it could be the same thing.
Okay, competent. Very nice. And choose one thing your spouse's powerful lover demands of them. Have you chosen that one?
Yeah, attend social gatherings with them.
Okay, so your spouse has to attend social gatherings with their other lover. And have you thought of an archetype for them? If not, that's okay.
Nope, not yet.
I'll leave that one to you guys. Just think of an archetype for them. When I circle back, if you guys have it. If not, we'll just add it to your character sheet by the end. Anybody else got more details?
Where do we find the archetypes?
You make it up. It's just 2 words, and that like vigilant sentry, spoiled brat. Passion.
Okay, but so it has to be exceptional on mine.
So exceptional just means that when you use that archetype, if your spouse is involved in the scene and you're using their archetype to help you, you get a +2 potential instead of +1.
Oh, okay.
Whereas everybody else has regular, your spouse has exceptional. Except you chose best friends. Is that one still exceptional?
Yes.
Nice.
All right, I do have mine.
Okay.
Well connected.
Well connected. Okay, very good. And you can actually have a second one there. I would say well connected is one word. So it could be like a well connected party
Hyphenated?
or yeah.
What exactly? How exactly do I determine the house values?
The house values we'll get to a little bit later. So
Oh, okay. Okay.
You're good for that right now. Okay. So yeah, I'll let you guys kind of go over the spouses there. So archetype is 2 descriptors for them. And then, make sure that you answer the questions on the card there.
I have 1 descriptor. I just need 1 more word.
Right. And those ones are totally open. There's no guidelines on the archetype. You come up with them. All right. Let's see here. Going on to the next step, we did marital cards. So now we are going to learn a little bit about your courts. So we have more cards, but let me make sure I don't mix your guys' cards up. Newlywed was Corinne. Shared legacy was Erica. Best friends was M, and influential lover was Wade. That sounded wrong. Flag me down. Okay. All right. So now we are going to the court. So this is more cards, and these cards, much like how the spouse was defined, is going to define kind of the theme of your court.
Okay.
So this isn't the location of your court because you guys are going to have a holding at the end, which is where your court's going to be kind of home based at. So 2 of these, you pick one. We're starting with Corinne again. You have good intentions and by your side. Erica, you have indirect rule and regime change. M, you have absolute devotion and civil war.
Okay.
And Wade, you have newcomers and penitentiary. Am I saying that word right? Penitentiary?
Yep.
Okay. It sounded wrong coming out of my mouth for some reason. Okay. So when you guys have picked, raise your hand. This is the theme of your courts and your courtiers. It's going to determine what kind of people are in there and kind of how things are run. What are you guys thinking about this, chat? I'm curious. Like, I think this character creation is so fun. And like players, what do you guys think of it? What do you think about the card system of being dealt things out?
I like it. It feels like, you're dealt a hand by fate, and
Right?
but there's still a lot of choices you get to make.
Yeah.
And I sometimes become immobilized by too many choices. So I like that it gives you limited choices.
Right. Yeah. At least gives you like a little list to go on. I think it's super fun.
I
It's nice.
absolutely love this kind of coming together of a character because like even before I had an idea of what to do with the character, and then I read how to do things. I was like, I kind of like having the character essentially build itself, and I fall into the RP.
It builds itself, but you still have like enough choices to feel satisfied. And I like
Yes.
It's kind of how Part-Time Gods worked for as well.
Yes. I loved Part-Time Gods.
Anybody got their court?
Yes.
Okay, Corinne raised her hand first. What do you got, Corinne?
This is going to be troublesome, but it sounds so fun. I'm going to do
Troublesome
good
is-
intentions.
Good intentions, awesome. And hey, you know what? Like, it's very clear in this book, there's no winning or failure, just all about the story. So there's going to be bad things and good things. Okay, so your court does its best to serve you in any way needed. Some of your courtiers are, however, quite incompetent, running into trouble all the time. So you're going to choose 3 adept courtiers. So I'm gonna let you guys just kind of choose this off screen because these get kind of in depth. And on your character sheet, you're gonna have a list of courtiers. Some of them you get to choose archetypes for, kind of like your spouse. Some you're just gonna name. You don't have to name them all or create them all right off the bat. It's kind of like your cap. So if you're in a scene, you can say, oh yeah, this is my courtier so-and-so, and you can add them right there if it makes sense.
Cool.
But some of them are more defined. So you're going to choose 3 adept courtiers, and these ones have archetypes. Flamboyant artisan, witty disciplinarian, independent agent, resourceful assistant, experienced bodyguard, obedient servant, or charming teacher. And then you have 1 exceptional courtier. So basically 3 of these are going to be adept, which is average. If you use them in a scene, they can use those archetypes as traits at a +1. 1 of them will be exceptional, which will be a +2.
Okay, so do I pick 4 courtiers, or do
Yeah.
I pick 3 and make 1 of them
3.
exceptional?
Yeah,
Okay.
3 and 1 is exceptional. That's how I understand it anyways. And then you're going to choose 5 inept courtiers.
I love that so much.
So these ones could show up in a scene maybe against your will, and they're going to be afflictions. So naive ideologist, aggressive challenger, pouty narcissist, overconfident warrior, frivolous apprentice, impatient youngster, carefree gambler, delicate gossip, brutal bruiser, amateurish schemer.
I already know which ones I want. It's going to be so good.
You want to tell us which ones?
Well, I don't know all of them yet.
Oh, okay, but you have ideas.
Yeah, definitely need to have an aggressive challenger. Definitely want an amateurish schemer. It's going to be amazing.
It's gonna be very fun. Okay, and then so your setup for your court is, and these are ones you can just kind of answer, and we'll go over them as they come up. But how do you treat differently adept and inept courtiers? How do you handle courtiers who failed or misbehaved? And name the adept courtiers name the adept courtiers and at least 1 inept courtier. Okay. So these ones basically, I'm just gonna let you guys add these kind of things to your sheet. And this is more for you guys to flesh it out. You're going to play according to how you're fleshing out your court. And the ones that ask you to name right now, try to name them ahead of time because it means that they might come into play for something. And then you have a special rule on yours called oops. At the beginning of the episode, give one inept courtier an affliction or later in the game. So later in the game or during the episode, you're going to have one of your inept courtiers show up with an affliction, which is very fun. Okay, so that is your court, Corinne. Got that there. Who's next?
Go ahead, Erica.
Okay, Erica, what do you got?
I've got regime change.
Regime change.
Ooh.
Your court used to have a different ruler, and they still follow some of the customs of their former master. Changing this won't be easy. So you choose 3 key supporters of the law: a famous courtesan, an experienced steward, a veteran bodyguard, an unorthodox negotiator, a savvy diplomat, or a caring aide. There are 5 courtiers who follow the old law as well. 1 exceptional, 4 regular, 1 problematic. So you're going to be picking those as well. Don't have to name them right off the bat, but they exist in your court. And you have to do this setup. What are the old laws and customs your courtiers still follow? What part of the old laws do you want to change the most? Name 3 key supporters of the old law. Create the renaming courtiers now or later in the game, your choice. And your court affliction is a severe affliction, which is the worst kind of affliction, is going to be problematic law. So basically the afflictions, minor equals -1 to your potential, major equals -2 to your potential, severe equals -3 to your potential.
And both of my choices were severe. So
yeah.
I didn't exactly have a choice there.
And you get the special rule for your court called tradition is sacred. As long as you respect the old law, problematic law doesn't count as an affliction. So if you're upholding that old one, then you don't have that severe affliction. Okay, that goes to Erica. Okay, you got yours ready, Em?
Yeah, I'm going to do absolute devotion.
Absolute devotion. Your courtiers idolize you and would do anything for you, but they are jealous and distrustful towards all defiant outside your court. So you're choosing 2 courtiers, a devoted bodyguard, an attentive servant, a charming lover, or a fearless supporter. Then you have 4 other regular courtiers. Your setup will be, what is your court's distinctive custom or tradition? Who are your courtiers most jealous of? And name at least 2 courtiers now. You can create 4 remaining courtiers now or later in the game. Your court trait, which is a bonus, is love and support. Your court affliction, which is a penalty, is xenophobic. And that's just a minor affliction. Your special rule is they don't know you like we do. Whenever someone visits your court, choose 1. You get +1 to social interactions with your courtiers, but a -1 to social interactions with your guest, or the other way around.
So they basically get mad if I talk to anybody outside my court.
Yeah, they get all jealous. So you're either catering to them or your guest, but like not both.
That's ridiculous. Children, please. Okay, this is fine.
Okay, Wade, you got yours?
Yes, sir. The penitentiary.
Penitentiary. Okay. Your court has a unique role. This is the place where defiant are sent when they cause problems. So you choose 3 wardens for your court: the grumpy guard, the resourceful pushover, overzealous bruiser, cute sadist, judgmental manager, or fearless addict. There are 9 prisoners in your court as well, 4 of them exceptional, 5 problematic. So your courtiers, like, you know, they're people in your court, they live in your court, but like they're basically prisoners. What type, and then your setup involves what type of defiant gets sent to your court: convicts, delinquents, traitors, brats, or other. What are the rules prisoners have to follow? Name your 3 wardens. Create the prisoners now or later in the game. You get a major court affliction of imprisoned. And your special rule is token of appreciation. The end of the episode, gain 1 additional standing with the province, because, you know, you're taking care of the prisoners. So standing is a pretty powerful resource that we're probably not going to get deep into in this session, but you can spend it to basically make your endeavors progress faster, or you can call in favors. All right. So that's it for your courts. Do any of you guys have any questions while you're writing those down or anything?
I think I'm going to fill out some of this later just because there's a lot to consider.
There is, yes. So yeah, you know, we're going to do our little pilot episodes today, so you guys can just kind of be filling this out to get the general feel, and then, you know, you guys can research, plot, and fill out the details, before our next session here.
So for where it says, for mine specifically, there are 5 courtiers who follow and support the law as well. And then I list, do I come up with those names myself?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I didn't know if I'd needed to choose the names that were under the supporters of the law.
Yeah, nope. You get to choose them. This is all custom made, your court, you're designing it. So, and
Okay.
not all of them you have to design right up front. Some of them they say you can design later.
Okay.
And that's kind of like they kind of show up and you name them as they're applicable in the scene, Okay, so now for the holdings, typically everybody would get 2 of these, and then you would choose one. But since we're doing 4 players, that math doesn't really work out. So you're just getting what you're dealt. So your holding is going to be where your court resides. It's your home base. It is your turf. And this is what we've got. Corinne, you have Eaglewood Park.
Fancy.
Erica, you have Odyssey Club. M, you have Bridgewood Central. And then Wade, you have Stonefront Wine Cellars.
Perfect.
Okay, so I'm just going to go in order here. Corinne, yours is Eaglewood Park. The Eaglewood Municipal Park is located on the outskirts of the district. With vibrant plant life and its famous oak trees, it is the largest parkland in Bridgewood. A group of lowborn who are basically supernaturals who aren't royals, they're not part of the major bloodlines, serve as the caretakers. So for your setup that you need to decide on this is what's the park's reputation and what building stands in the middle. And then you have certain facilities in your holding. And for each facility, you need to give it an adjective. And then the adjectives can become traits or affliction in different scenarios. So you have a building, a gazebo, a monument, and alleyways. So go ahead and start thinking about those. Erica, yours is Odyssey Club. Located just off the boulevard in a less crowded alley, the club has changed owners and styles numerous times for the past 50 years. A group of lowborn works at the club. Your setup is what type of club is it and who can enter the club. And your facilities that you add adjectives to are a VIP lounge, a bar, a back room, and a stage. M, you've got Bridgewood Central. The train station was built in the late 19th century, designed by a famous architect. It quickly became the pride and joy of Bridgewood. A group of lowborn takes care of the maintenance. Your setup is what's the station's current function? How does the station look like? And your facilities are carts, waiting room, platform, and a hall. So,
Like a platform, like what kind of a platform?
platform 9 3/4.
Mm.
A train platform.
Okay. Okay.
You got full-blown train station. Okay, and then Wade, you've got the Stonefront Wine Cellars. The holding is located in old, spacious wine cellars running under a large part of the Bridgewood Boulevard. High arched brick and stone ceilings make for interesting architecture. A group of lowborn guards the place. So your setup is what small facility lies on top of the entrance, and how is the interior arranged? Your facilities are a chamber, a storage room, street level building, and a dungeon. So you'll add adjectives to those. Now, did you guys want to go over the holdings now, or do you guys want to do these kind of like the courts, and I'll let you kind of fill them out? These will probably play a pretty key role in our pilot episodes coming up.
So right now it's gonna be because we're
Yeah, so basically, we'll take a short break before we get there, but the final step of character creation that kind of starts like a typical game of Defiant is we build our characters here, and then we're going to do what's called a pilot episode, which is going to be, we're going to do a single challenge in your court. We're going to go over what your court looks like, what your holding looks like, what your kind of day-to-day life is like. And then based on how your challenge roll goes, we're going to determine kind of how your court standing is at the beginning of the game. Okay. So if you roll well, things might be going better than expected for you. If you roll terrible, then you're in some kind of dire straits at the start.
okay.
So maybe we'll let you guys take the break to think over those, and we'll kind of go over it when we talk about the pilot episode. So that is pretty much it. I'm gonna go over the checklist here. Let's see, sweet. You guys have your character sheets. Corinne, did you think of a name yet by chance?
Yes, and I wrote it down. Christenia.
Christenia, nice. And you are House Smarkart, is that right?
Melkart.
Malkart, thank you. And Christinia?
Yes, Christeria. Christeria?
Chris,
Can't read my own handwriting. Christeria.
Christeria.
That's right. I thought it'd be funny if it rhymed with hysteria.
Nice, I like it. Malkart. Okay, got that noted down. Okay, so we got your names. You guys we've gone over the details of your powers, your draconic features, your grim scars, your true names, all that. You guys all came up with your unique trait, right? We're good there? Good.
Yes.
Okay. You guys have your spouse, and you guys are going to be working on the details of said spouse. You guys chose the details of your court and your holding. So we have got all the details there. So that's it. That is character creation for Defiant. So you guys are going to take all those cards, all those traits. We're going to meld them into one character. We're doing pretty good on time here. So I think, chat, what we're going to do, we're going to take a 15-minute break here to, let anybody use facilities or get water, and then we'll give our players some time to kind of finish the rough edges on their characters. And then when we come back, we will jump into a pilot episode for each character, which is going to be just me, the GM, and the character doing a little bit of role play in their court to kind of get the general flavor of their character. So we'll do that, and we'll see you guys in about 15 minutes. All right. Welcome back, everybody. We are here with more Defiant. We have characters made. We have spouses made, more or less. We have courts made, more or less. So now we're going to go over what is called in this system as the pilot episode. So everything in Defiant is kind of run the same way that you would have like a TV series. So it's broken down by the pilot episode first, which is kind of your introduction to each character. So this is going to be this one's going to be a one-on-one just between like the GM and the character. It's going to basically be them introducing their character, they're holding their spouse, and then every session you typically go over what's called a court challenge, which is basically a challenge you roll for to see how things are being run in your court. So we're going to do a mini version of that on the pilot episode to kind of see how the court standings are at the very beginning here. Maybe they're thriving more than they thought they would be. Maybe things are going smoothly. Maybe there's some kind of disastrous thing happening in the court right now that they're going to have to deal with over the course of the next episode. So we're not going to be doing like a full series here. Things are broken down into sessions. Sessions create an episode. Episodes create a season. Seasons create a chronicle. So kind of breaks down like a TV series. So for our little thing here, we're doing a pilot episode, and then we will do a session next time. We'll try to cram in a little bit of adventure in there, and that's what you guys will see on this stream. So we have determined the order off screen of who's going to be going first. And we are going to be starting with M for her pilot episode at the very start here. So let me get some notes pulled up here. Okay. I've got it here. So M, what is your character's name? Let's start with this by just giving us like a typical character intro, like you would in any TTRPG. Give us your character's name, give us a description, tell us a little bit about your character.
Okay. I normally do that in character. Do you want me to do that?
Yeah, go for it. I'll power to you.
Okay. Hi, my name is Ruby Dawn. Do I lead my house? Is that correct?
Yeah, you are the royal. You are royalty. You run this court. You don't necessarily rule your house. Like your bloodline is all royalty, right? You're part of a royal bloodline, but you run this court. Everything else is kind of like run in the infrastructure. We decide there's a principessa of your province. Of your province. There's there's the Hierophant who's the big overall ruler, but you are royalty.
Okay. So I run the court at Bridgewood Central. My courtiers are all fancy, such as myself. We all wear suits, proper ties. Everyone around me has short hair, or their hair is in neat buns. Yet myself and my wife both let our hair hang long and loose.
And what is your wife's name?
My wife's name, thank you so much for asking. My wife's name is Avontriel.
Montreal, very
Yes,
nice.
she is my dearest friend. We've known each other for so long. Uh, what a wonderful woman. Wish she let me in her bedroom. Just kidding. What else did you want to know about me?
So you are an infernal. So
Mhm.
and
Yes.
Avontriel is what origin?
She is of the origin angel.
Okay.
Wonderful, beautiful white wings.
So I'm curious, do all pronouns wear suits in your court?
Yes.
That's awesome. That's so cool. What do your grim scars look like when they manifest? Now, these aren't always something that's manifested. They're kind of a sign of power and memory and however else, and pain, obviously. But what do they look like when they manifest?
That is a private question that you're asking, but when they do manifest, they look like whip marks as a representative of the time spent in hell.
Okay, very nice. Now you're already doing this, and this is a good point to bring up. I'm glad that you're doing it because this is how it's supposed to work, and I forgot to mention it. But all the questions I ask you here, you're basically answering from the perspective of your character. So if I ask like, how are things going at your court? You're going to answer how your character would be telling anybody how things are going at your court.
Okay.
And then we're going to do the court challenge to see how things are actually going at your court.
Love it.
Yeah. Okay. So your holding is Bridgewood Central, which is a train station. So tell us a little bit, paint us a word picture of Bridgewood Central.
Oh, well, when you first walk into Bridgewood Central, you would not think train station. No, this is not your average concrete jungle. We have pristine wooden floors. All of the train openings are covered by luxurious drapes and vines and sparkling lights. We're about opulence here at Bridgewood Central. Just between you and I, well, there's maybe some dark dealings behind these drapes, but we won't get into that. As I walk through my grandiose halls, you can see everyone in my holding will pause and bow to me respectfully until I pass.
Do you have any kind of like daily or morning routine that you go about your court?
Yes, there's always business to take care of early in the morning, but I do enjoy a luxurious sleep in, a long bath, brushing out my hair, spend a little time with the little lady for breakfast, and then off to business.
Okay. And what's the train's current function? Is that part of the shady dealings?
Oh, yes, we're not going to talk about that right now.
Okay. Shady train dealings noted. Do you have any kind of specific rules or functions in your court that kind of stand out from the standard Defiant rules or your province rules?
Perhaps you will notice that I have the undying love from my courtiers. They insist upon bowing up to me every time I'm in the room until I've passed by, so that might be considered unique. They are so devoted, these children. So devoted. It actually can be kind of a problem. Sometimes they get aggressive with anyone who comes to visit. We just have to handle that as it is. So if they're being too unruly, I make them kneel against the wall with their hands behind their head on some rice grains. Tends to put them in order.
Very good. Okay. So now I want you to tell me about how you are currently managing your court. Now, this is going to be transitioning into your court challenge. So as you're telling me about how you run your court, I want you to, first of all, be honest with me about any afflictions of your court that are going to be an affliction here. That would be a downfall or a penalty on how your court is being run. And then you're going to throw any applicable traits at me that you think are applicable here. And I'm going to be keeping a tally here on my fancy tools of my fingers here of what your overall potential is going to be for this role.
Okay. So as you see, as I said before, my court is inflicted by a prejudice against anyone else who is not from my court. They tend to think that we are the best. and no one else could possibly be the best, and everyone else could potentially think that, like, they're going against me. My wealth creates a problem where people want what they cannot have. So that, you know, they're on the sharp outlook for danger. But their love and support will carry me through. Anyone who would potentially be against me. I do have an enemy that we don't need to talk about right now, but I'm waiting for the day he shows up. Luckily, I've got intelligence scattered out throughout different places that will warn me of such an attack.
Because this isn't like mental intelligence. This is like you've got information.
I have intel. I've got like
Intel, okay.
people in places.
Okay.
And let's see. And you know, my skills in bribery also help me keep those intelligence at different points.
And this helps you keep your court in order?
Yeah. So like I feel like it does, because if I know like what's going on, I can like ease their worries about anyone else who might be coming to get us. Don't worry, I have a guy here, and he says that this dealing is going to actually be what it is.
Okay, fair enough.
And my wife helps. She's from another important court, and she has good relations with them. Helps put my courtiers at ease.
Okay. Do you have an archetype defined for your spouse yet?
No.
Okay, that's okay. I'm not going to count that for her then yet, but
okay.
we will.
That's what That's what my idea is for her. I just don't know how to put that in a phrase.
Okay. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say that she applies one of her traits, and she has an exceptional trait, right?
Yep.
So that's +2.
Okay. And but you know, yeah, that's it. That's what I think I got for you.
Okay. Do you have any court afflictions that would be a downfall to the way you run your court?
Oh, I said that already. That's the xenophobic. They don't trust anyone outside of my court.
And that's just a minor affliction, correct?
Let me check. How do you know?
If I didn't specify, it's a minor.
You did not specify.
Okay, it's a minor then. All right, so I have your total potential at 3 currently.
Okay.
So that means that your starting dice pool is 3d6, and then for every potential, you're going to upgrade one of those lowest dices to a d8. You typically on a challenge have the choice to use a shard to add an additional d8 to your pool, but for the court challenge, you can't use a shard. So your dice pool is going to be 3d8. You're going to roll it for me, and 5 or higher is going to be a success.
I got no successes.
Interesting. Okay, good. So no successes in terms of a court challenge means that you're at the mercy of the DM. And for the pilot episode, it just means you're starting out in some, in a rough spot. Okay, so you're going about your daily court business here in your court around the train station. We're just going to say, you're kind of on the main train platform, going about business as usual. Are there outsiders here at the train station? Is your train station mainly people of your court?
Oh, my court exclusively, unless I've brought them in to see some goods to be passed along.
Okay. So typically your court. So as you're going about your train station business here and handling your court, you see a train is incoming currently into your station, and you see somebody very unexpected hop off the train. You were not planning for this person at all. They are a very notable figure in your province. It is Denathea Zuriel. She is the daughter of the Principessa. Now, what you know about Denathea is now the way that children work in Defiant is they're not born and like carried and given birth to typically. Basically, somebody gets the spark of a Defiant when somebody is blessed with it through some sort of union. So you may obtain a child who's not a child. They are already an adolescent or an adult.
Mm-hmm.
Denathea here is a young adult, and she has not been very well cared for by the Principessa. She was born after the whole tragedy with the Principessa's late husband. And she has been known for just causing a whole lot of trouble. She's been partying hard and into all kinds of wild and inappropriate things. So she comes kind of hobbling off the train. She's got long blonde hair. She is a beautiful angel, angel. And she is kind of off balance and almost seems like she is drunk or intoxicated of some sort. And,
Uh-oh.
it kind of makes a scene when she gets off the train. She's kind of like looks around at everything, and then she kind of catches your eyes, and she smiles at you. Ruby, is that you?
Oh, it is indeed, my dear.
I
But
hear you charge around here.
yes, I
Come
am.
on over here. Let's talk about it. I have some things to discuss with you.
I wave back my like, what are they called? Courtiers, who are all probably taking a step forward, their hands going to their hips or their shoulders, wherever they have a hidden weapon nearby. And I stride over there, brushing my hair out of my face.
Yeah, she kind of walks up. She walks by like one of your more handsome gentleman courtiers and kind of like lingers and like runs a hand down his chest.
Let's not do that.
Don't you even know who I am?
Oh,
I can
yes.
touch your courtiers. Come on. I'll put in a good word with Mom.
Thank you for that. Just one moment and I'll give a quick clap. Out of the room, please.
They can all stay. There's no reason to send people
they have
up.
business.
I'm just here to hang out. Come on, let's talk.
We shall hang out, my dear. And you know
Why
what?
aren't we friends yet?
We are friends. Oh, come here. And I'll drape an arm around her waist and draw her closer to me. I have just the most comfortable waiting room, my dear. Come along.
More interesting than this boring train station? Did Mom give you this train station? Why a train station? Renovate it something more exciting. I bet you could actually throw some wild parties here if you tried hard enough.
I snap my fingers and my attentive servant comes scuttling up with a tray and drinks. Care for a drink? He says.
Yes, please.
Yes. Wonderful.
Yeah, she grabs it and kind of downs it.
Let's move on to the waiting room. And I throw a quick look over my shoulder at all of my courtiers who are frothing at the mouth to get at this person for dissing on our home.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You have the xenophobic court, don't you?
And they are, and plus they're like really, really jealous. So they like want all of my attention all the time.
Well, I am of sober mind to discuss business now. Hair of the dog is what that one was. So I have a favor to ask of you, and I'm hoping that we can just agree on it. I got you. We don't know each other enough yet, so you're gonna do a favor for me, and then we'll be friends. That's how it works, right?
Of course. Do I have any sort of knowledge on my modus operandi to like know what this favor might already be?
You have no idea. She's
Okay.
been a complete wild card. Well, you see, you know Viseriana Melkart, and you are aware of this person. She is a Leviathan. She's been around forever. She, as things have changed, her beautiful manor home on the boulevard has always stayed there and unchanged. She's just kind of a constant in the province.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to be holding a wild party. You know her and her wild elixirs that she makes. She makes all those little potions that do different things. She's got some that just have some wild effects, right? And she's going to be throwing a party. Shh, a party. You haven't been invited yet, but you're going to be. She's going to be choosing you. I made sure of it. And it's going to be a little bit of a cross-court competition. And she's going to have some challenges she wants people to do. And she's going to want to test some of these elixirs. Everybody's going to be able to pick one, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be able to pick one. Now, first of all, you're going to participate in this, right?
Can't say no to games.
Can't say no to me.
And
just
I'll
the
just
games.
pull like a couple of dice out of my pocket and just like start rolling them around in my hand.
She's gonna boop you on the nose. Say, you can't say no to me. I need to make sure we understand this.
I hold up a finger to the side to keep my protective bodyguard at bay.
Good. Say it to me. You can't say no to me.
How could I possibly say no to you, my dear?
Exactly. That's what I always say. I wouldn't, you know what, Mom hearing word of, you know, you and your wife getting a little too close here. None of that business. You guys have some good distance, and I can respect that. Anyways,
Thank you.
you're gonna go to this party, right? She's like in this kind of like very like revealing, short, glittery green dress. And she's got like these red stockings coming up kind of high, and she's got like a little side purse. If I didn't clarify, the world of Defiant, it is modern times, like it's modern technology, modern world. So there's cell phones, there's purses, whatnot. She's gonna pull out this very fancy vial. It's got this kind of almost glowing purple liquid in it, and it's got like an engraved dragon curling up around the vial. See this here? This is exactly looks like the elixir that she's gonna have. This is a fake. Shh. So you're gonna take this one for the competition, and you're gonna drink this one like you're using it, and you're gonna steal the real one for me. She doesn't want me to have it for some reason, but that stuff does a wild high, and I want it, and I want to figure out how to make more of it. So you're gonna take it for me, okay?
Chase, can I ask you a question?
Uh-huh.
One of my questions is, does
Yes.
this person look like they are a big threat?
Yeah, you can. So you have 10 shards currently. So you could spend a shard and you can ask me that question.
Yeah, I'll spend a shard.
This person looks like she means business, and you've heard on your Street 3 intel, she is a big political threat. She could destroy your reputation, especially with the Prince of Pessa, who is a very, like, the most important authority figure in your province.
Okay. Well then, I would be happy to make this swap for you, my dear.
That's
For, you know, a friendship, as we were saying.
Exactly. We can be great friends afterwards. I can get you into some crazy parties.
Mm.
And make that wife of yours look real boring, I promise.
Ha!
Good. So we're in agreement?
Yes, of course.
Keep an eye out for the invite. Make sure you say yes, and just sneaky little slip. This is perfect counterfeit. I know a guy. She won't even know the difference.
Of course. I would be happy to do this for you, friend. Shall I show you back to the train?
I'm going to hang out here for a while, I think.
Wonderful.
You have some
Wonderful.
nice looking courtiers here. I think I'll help myself if you don't mind.
Well,
I like the suits.
they are
Wow.
rather smart, aren't they? Yes. And I look over at my courtiers. Do they seem down to clown, as the kids say?
Some of them do, yeah. She's a beautiful woman. Like,
Okay.
she says that, and some people like are obviously eavesdropping and like perk up a little bit.
Okay.
Though with your court being a little bit biased, probably more of them are like looking a little upset at what's just gone down.
Yes. Well, as long as consent has been given, I give my blessing.
Of course. You're always so good. I've heard good things about you, Ruby.
That's wonderful to hear. Absolutely wonderful.
All
And
right.
I am going to get myself the hell out of that room.
Okay. Yeah, so you go about your court business, and there's your pilot episode. There's your setup. That's a nice, so typically if you do a court challenge and you have failures like that, sometimes you would get afflictions and whatnot, but the pilot episode more so just kind of determines the starting state of your court. All right. Good job. Your character sounds very neat. I'm excited to see them next session. All right, we're going to move on. Next pilot episode for Wade. Are you ready to go?
Yes, sir.
Wonderful here. Catch up on Shire. There we go. All right. So Wade, tell us a little bit about your character. Including name.
Yes. Well, obviously, when I introduce myself, the name is usually the first thing that comes out, by which My name is Thargon Shemesh.
Strong name.
Of course.
And
Fitting.
now, Thargosh, I got that right, correct?
Thargon.
Thargon Shemesh, got it. So Thargon, you run the penitentiary, and you are located in. Sorry, remind me what your holding was again.
The storefront wine cellars.
Storefront wine cellars. All right. Tell me a little bit about the storefront wine cellars. Give me a word picture of both your character and the wine cellars, if you could.
Well, yes. The first thing you have to know is that most people don't actually see the wine cellars. We have a facility on top, which is a banquet hall. This is where we hold most of our daily court gatherings. And it is oftentimes used by my spouse, Viseria, to hold very extravagant parties that only the most powerful are invited to. She's quite influential. She's very well connected. There is a single elevator that does lead down into the cellars. And these cellars are a maze-like dungeon that if you do not know, you are going to get lost. Oh, yes, of course. We have a well-stocked storage room and a torture chamber, which is what the well-stocked storage room is for. I'm very good at getting information. The type of people that reside down here in our cellars are convicts. They're not the type that you want, that most Defiant want to interact with, to mingle with. But we still find our uses for them. We pride ourselves on being able to gather information, either willing or unwilling.
Very good. Now, tell me a little bit about your daily routine. What does a routine in the day of the penitentiary look like?
Very rigid, which is why I have the help of my 3 wardens, my judgmental manager. He could be a little harsh, but usually his judgments are spot on. We have our grumpy guard, which who could blame him? He deals with convicts all day.
Oh yeah,
and of course,
a lot to deal with.
Always, they're quite interesting most of the time. And my overzealous bruiser, who normally, when I'm around, I like to dole out the punishments if one of our convicts steps out of line. But if I am not there or I am unable to attend, he makes a good substitute. Just to act as a reminder of what happens when you go against the rules.
Of course. Very good. Now you are a Leviathan. Tell us a little bit about what your draconic features look like when you choose to show them.
Well, it is rare that I choose to show them. It probably means that someone screwed up royally. But when I do, my horns are the first thing that you'll probably see. They go up a good 2 feet above my head, red with black that is swirling in them.
Okay, very nice.
Yes. Then the next thing that you'll probably notice is my eyes. They change to a pure golden yellow.
Slitted?
Yes.
Very nice. Okay.
Then, I'm not done.
Oh, nice.
No,
Continue,
I have.
Please.
Oh, yes. Then the next thing you notice is probably my tail, at which point it's probably going to be wrapped around you. It's quite powerful. It does use things. And then the last thing you get to see and feel are the claws. And yeah, you don't want to feel those.
Okay. Good to know. So the tail leads to the bad thing of the claws.
Yes.
Gotcha. All right. Very good. So that's a good word picture of your holding and kind of what happens here. So tell me about like the general attitude of the prisoners. Now they're obviously imprisoned there. But I mean, they're still living in a court. Do they have any nice freedoms? Do they have any luxuries, or is it strictly down to business punishment for your prisoners?
Freedoms are earned, and earning them comes with trust. Once we trust you, you do get a modicum of freedom, but you also have to be useful. You don't get freedom for free.
Okay. So prove your worth and you get some more freedom, in other words.
Yes.
Okay.
Be useful to the house, to the holding.
All right. So let's talk about how your court is being run and move into the actual court challenge itself. So I want you to kind of make a case for me about how you're keeping your court in order. And as you're doing so, hit me with some traits that you think would be applicable. And if there's any court afflictions that would apply, let me know.
Yes. Well, between my wife and I, it is a well-oiled machine. We first, no one can withstand my threatening glare. Just that alone keeps most of my convicts in line.
Mm-hmm.
They have heard of some of the legends, the stories of my past, and how hardened I am, and of course the conquests I have done. They know that they can't. It's very hard to get away with anything, as I'm a master in investigations and also weapons. So it's in their advantage to be forthright with everything they do and follow the rules.
So are you, will lethal weapons be used against people who are out of line?
Yes, but not lethally.
Okay. All right. Gotcha.
But
So
they'll want to be. It'll get to the point where they want to be, but.
Okay. All right. Good to know. Okay. And do you have any court afflictions that would apply here?
Yes. Imprisoned. At the end of the day, they don't have a choice. They are in our holding because they're imprisoned.
Okay. And imprisoned is, if I recall correctly, a major affliction.
Yep.
All right. So that puts your final calculation here for your challenge roll at 4. So you have 4 potential. So that is going to be 1d10 and 2d8s. So 5s and 6s are successes. Do better than M did.
3 successes.
3 successes. Okay, you did much better than
Wait,
M.
okay, I see you. I see what's going on here.
Just because I can come over and help you get your holding in line, I'm sure.
Ooh. We'll see about that.
Okay, so Wade, you are going about your court business, running the penitentiary, and one of your wardens comes up to you and lets you know that they have a bit of a unique situation. You just got, excuse my voice, time for water. You just got notice of a new prisoner that you got. The name is Marekian Kamale from House Kamale, which is the House of Angels, which, caused the previous unfortunate events in your domain. He just barely got outed as House Kamale. He was currently trying to hide it, which is also against the commandments. Keeping secrets is not good. And also House Kamale must, repent for what they did. So he's pretty much a double offender sent to your court here. And your warden notifies you that he has a letter for you. And he is requesting to give it to you directly.
Interesting. I can't wait to make him sing. Let's go. And I'll walk over to our newest inductee.
So when new people are brought over, how do you imagine them here? Do they come on their own free will escorted? Are they cuffed? Are they bound?
It depends on the severity of what they've done, but normally they are bound and escorted by either an archon or something of the sort.
Okay. Yeah, so he was escorted over and, he's been pretty compliant. Now, he is a very good-looking gentleman. He is tall, trim, dark hair, and he just has kind of a blank expression, just kind of staring down at the ground. And he looks up at you as you're approaching with the same blank expression. You're the one I'm wanting to speak to.
First, you will speak when spoken to.
He's between his, he's got his hands kind of cuffed and he kind of reaches into his shirt here and he holds up like a sealed letter. I was told to give this to you
By who?
by Lady Visariana Melkart. I'm coming from her court. She's sending me over here. Got permission through all the proper authorities.
Right. Well, job done.
You proud of yourself for this prison here?
Quite. Aren't you just excited to join our house?
Just thrilled, let me tell you.
Beautiful.
Now, listen, I have some unique situations. I'm not trying to talk out of line here. I'll figure out these rules eventually. I was told by Lady Melkart that I am to participate in a little event she has coming up. And there's apparently a letter here explaining all the details. I don't know if it's usual for your prisoners to participate in. So here's this. He kind of like holds the letter up in your direction.
Mm-hmm. Right. I'll take it. We'll see about that. But for now, maybe you should get acquainted with one of my other wardens. And I'll turn to the manager that was with me. Yes, Bruiser. I think they need to have a little chat.
He
And then I'll
he looks over at the person you're gesturing. I imagine they look threatening or sadistic in some way.
Oh yeah, they're a big guy.
Yeah, he just kind of sighs and walks over to accept his fate. The envelope that you have here is, very nice lettering. You can see it is sealed and unbroken with the seal of Lady Visaria Melkart. She's got her own seal that's pretty notable around town. This is the same person that I talked to with M about. She has been there forever. Most people know of her. She's a very notable person in the Melkart house with her own court.
Bruiser, on the other hand, let's wait for a second. Show him to his new room. It's the penthouse suite. He'll love it. And then I'll read the letter.
He looks back kind of disbelievingly and follow. He complies. He doesn't fight or anything. Okay, yeah. So you open up this letter, and basically inside this letter, there's a whole bunch of pleasantries from Lady Visariana. I hope things have been doing well for you. I'm so sorry to send you such an incompetent person to your court, but I do hear that the domain repays you and the province compensates you well for it. I would like to invite you to one of my formal parties coming up, a bit of a cross-court competition. I'm hoping that you will represent your court, and also a bit of an unusual request, just for a bit of extra entertainment. I'm hoping that you will also let this new courtier I sent over represent your house as well. I do plan to have the odds stacked against him, and I think it'll be a bit of a humorous event to see him shamed and lose so terribly. In return, of course, I will compensate you with a couple of my more well-suited courtiers to balance things out. I just ask that you do not treat them as prisoners as usual. They can be quite handy. I hope to see you there, and I also hope you'll consider testing some of my new elixirs during the competition as well. Please send your reply post-haste, and I hope all is well in your court once again. And she'll sign it formally, Lady Visariana Melkart.
Right. I will fold the letter and put it in my pocket. There's work to be done first. And then I'll continue about my daily routine of making sure all the convicts are doing what they're supposed to.
Okay, very good. Do you have a reply for your pilot episode to this letter, or would you like to handle that in the next session?
He'd probably think about it a little bit more. And so I'll wait for next session.
Okay, sounds good. There is your pilot episode. Well done. Character sounds awesome. All right. Moving on, next in the list, we have Erica. Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay, awesome. So your character's name is Anastasia, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's tell us a little bit about the executioner Anastasia, your holding is the Odyssey Club,
Mhm.
and you have the Regime Change Court. So tell us a little bit about Anastasia. Tell us about how she looks. Tell us a little bit about her, and give us a word picture of your holding.
Yeah. So this first part I won't do in character yet.
Sure.
I'm still trying to figure her out a little bit.
Yeah, no problem. You do whatever feels good.
Cool. Okay, so Anastasia, she is tall and slender with long black hair with deep red highlights. And one of her traits is, which one was it? I wrote it down, but it has something to do with her eyes. And they are piercing gray. So they are very temptress looking. Let's see. And then what was the other bit that you wanted to know?
Tell us a little bit about the Odyssey Club. Give us a picture about what your holding looks like, kind of what your general courtiers look like. Give us the vibe of your court.
All right. So the Odyssey Club, imagine 1940s modern. It appears a little bit like a gentleman's club, but the more you look at it, the more you can see the feminine touch.
Okay.
Kind of a musky yet sweet smell in the air. Everybody in the court, so Anastasia and her husband Dominic are always wearing kind of like a silky, really deep black clothes, all black. Everybody else wears deep wine red outfits, whether that be suits, dresses. It's a little bit more upscale, but their color of outfits matches the redness of her hair.
Classy. Nice.
Yeah. And that's about it for now.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about your spouse. What is his origin? What is his kind of general appearance?
All right. So Dominic, he's actually based off of Dominic Monaghan.
Nice. Very cool.
Because I love that man. He's fantastic. So he's got really kind of his hair isn't quite black like hers, but it's kind of a darker brown black. They are both infernal, so they're of the same kind of race and origin. He is her loyal defender. Not only are they perfectly matched in their opinions, but he brings her her servants and defends her.
Very nice. Okay. Nice. I like it. So okay. So you've got this classy kind of gentleman's club over like a bumpin' nightclub, which is very cool. I love that. Tell us a little bit about your daily routine and what you do to kind of maintain your court every day.
So
how does your spouse fit into those routines?
Oh, he fits into it quite well. Her daily routine, they first thing in the morning, they share some tender moments with each other, whether that be sex or just talks from the night before. After that is adjourned, they will meet on their balcony for breakfast. It's pretty different every morning, kind of whatever they're in the mood in. Afterwards, they retire to the back room of the club for mental stimulation with their servants or victims.
Oh, okay. Very nice. I like it. Okay. So tell us a little bit about your infernal scars when they manifest.
Oh, she has worked very hard to try and get herself to still look beautiful, even infernal. It hasn't quite worked out. Her scars appear more like vines that are wrapping around her body and look like they're tearing her like skin apart. But then her eyes will turn red to match her hair. Her horns that she gets, she has manipulated and shaved them in a way that they kind of look more like ram's horns, where they kind of curl backwards. They look like they have been shaven down to look smooth, so she can try to maintain her physical beauty while still looking pretty terribly infernal.
Awesome. I love it. Okay, so we have kind of a visual of your character and your court. Now, your courtiers, you said, all kind of follow that same kind of dress attire of the crimson red. You said wine red is the term.
Yeah, it's kind of like just like a really deep wine red.
Nice. All right, so tell me what you do to kind of keep your court in order. And this is moving into your court challenge.
Yes.
So give me a case for your traits that apply to how you manage your court. And you have kind of a unique one where you have a big old penalty if you're not obeying old
Yes.
laws. So to include a little bit about that in it as well.
So with the court affiliation with the problematic law, so the whole thing with the regime change was she and her husband overthrew the previous ruler because they were not adjusting to the times. They were still kind of thinking, like teaching their people to think about the past, think about what they've done wrong, try to move forward, but they were dwelling on the past. And every fiber of her being, she revels in the pure intentions law and doing everything possible for the Principessa. So everything is based on the laws of the time. So she overthrew this ruler, but to kind of, she's manipulating the laws, the old laws. So what she's doing to kind of help with the affliction is keeping the wording of the old laws, but manipulating small words. So then when things are changed, they're not these big, huge changes. They're subtly made and very slowly, so nobody gets scared when things start changing.
Very nice. All right. So so it sounds like you're avoiding your court affliction currently, the way you're handling things. So which of your traits do you think apply?
Let's see. Would that go with like the personal theme?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like any of your traits that you have on your sheet,
Perfect.
Court traits or your personal traits, however you can associate them to managing your court.
So a little bit of rules and manipulation. She's very rules heavy with like the new laws and the Principessa. I'm going to say that wrong the entire time. Principessa, as well as manipulation through the wording of the laws to bring things to the correct times.
Okay. Very nice. And then just one more question for you, because you kind of explained the most close bond with your spouse. Do you and your spouse respect the province law of kind of not staying exclusive or keeping it casual?
In a way, they reserve physical intimacy for each other, whereas their whole exterior relationship is built around mental manipulation. So kind of their structure of their relationship and how she brings him into who she is, she thrives on confession and mental manipulation for the truth. And he is her defender to essentially give her what she wants. And
Nice.
they both have this mental manipulation relationship with other people.
Good answer. Nice. Okay. So I have your total potential here at 3. So you're going to go ahead and roll me your court challenge, which 3 potential means you're rolling 3d8 and 5 or higher is a success.
3d8. All right, let's see which dice am I going to roll? Which ones are going to be the nicest to me? I'll just move all my other dice out of the way. 2 successes.
2 successes.
It was really scary because the other one was a 1.
All right. So so you are going about your court business, kind of, business as usual. And you see somebody that you've probably seen him around. You probably know about him. His name is Vasuda Melkart. He is one of the sons of Viseriana Melkart. Now, you know that Viseriana and her spouse are notably like pretty strict and not really the best to their kids. They're not like terrible parents. They support them, but their kids are all a little bit demoralized and disgruntled overall with the way they parent. And he is also like a pretty notable gossip around town. So he comes in kind of in the general attire. He's got like a nice suit on, and he's got a tie matching your kind of crimson wine red, matching your club. And he's gonna come greet you as he walks on in. And Anastasia, how are you doing? How you
Hmm.
doing, sweetie?
Doing fantastic. She brings her hand out for him to kiss it.
Yeah, he'll kiss it, and then he'll kind of like pull her in for a hug and like kind of kiss each cheek.
Mm.
He's a very touchy feely kind of guy. How are things going here? Your club's looking great.
Thank you. I've made a couple of changes. The aroma, most of all, it needed to be a little bit more inviting.
Oh, I think it's just great, but I'm sure you'll class it up. I love this place.
Thank you.
It's just wonderful. Can we dish for a second? I'd like to talk about something.
Absolutely.
Have you heard about? Oh, I hate her so much. Aniko Sek.
She's gonna kind of pretend that she doesn't know who this is. No, do explain.
So you know that she's a high blood that's in a different court. She's actually part of Viseriana Melkart's own court, even though she's not part of the bloodline. She is a courtier and a pretty notable one there. She is just on my case about everything there. My mom's always being all strict out there, and I just want to go out and have some fun, and she keeps being a tattle. I'm sick of it.
Have you tried being just a little bit more sneaky?
I'm real sneaky, but she's got sharp eyes, that one.
Mm.
So let me cut to it. I've got a little bit of a favor to ask you. Now, I heard from my dear old mom that she's going to be inviting you to some kind of cross-court competition. You're going to be accepting it, right?
Well, anything that brings a little bit more of attention to this little spot, of course.
You know, dear old mom, she's a bit strict, but she's got some pockets. So I mean, it'd be silly to say no to it.
I do love the pockets.
Well, good. I'm glad they're on the same page here then.
Mhm.
Now, I would like for you to do me a little bit of favor if you could. Just, between friends.
Yeah.
We're friends, right?
Absolutely. You bring me all sorts of delicious information.
And I can keep that coming. Let me tell you
Good.
that. I've got plenty of that. Now, she's also going to be inviting Aniko. I'm not participating in it. All right. Now, I would like you to just really make sure she doesn't win. Even like, if you could just focus not so much on winning, I can even compensate you for it if you end up losing for it. I don't want her to win. It would mean so much for me if you could just make sure she doesn't win.
Considering the little deal we have, all the information you bring me, the least I can do is stop someone from winning.
That would be, you are a doll. Thank you so much. That's why I love you. I love your club.
Good.
Now, here's a little bit of a secret too. She's going to be having these elixirs. She goes out, her and her little concoctions. All right. There's going to be different colors. She's not going to tell you anything about them. She's testing them. Using people's guinea pigs. Isn't that kind of rude?
Depends on the elixir, but I can see that going the wrong way.
All right. Well, I'll give you a little bit of heads up. The purple one, delicious, but I don't know if it's going to really be helping you for the competition. A little bit too delicious, if you know what I mean. Now, the green one, that one could give you an edge.
Fantastic.
So if you want my advice on it, make sure Aniko gets the purple one and you take yourself that green one.
All right. She kind of looks over to her husband, who's not quite far. Dear, would you mind writing that down just in case I don't forget? Thank you. Continue.
He's a doll too.
He's
A
fantastic.
good looking one at that. You're both just so hot.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad that we can have this little discussion. I really hope you accept it. I hope you win. And I really hope that she loses.
Oh,
I really hope she loses.
I can guarantee for the most part that she'll lose one way or the other.
That's good. That's good. If you have to throw the game for it, just let me know. We'll figure something out. I'll make sure that if she loses, I'll be one happy gentleman.
Sounds good to me.
Well, I'm gonna go enjoy this club you here. You got some drinks or preferred food I should get?
Absolutely. Order whatever you want. It's on you tonight. Or sorry, me.
He kind of smacks you on the shoulder, and he'll go about and start ordering some very elegant things from your menus there at the club. All right, and there is your pilot episode. Good job.
Thank you.
Excellent character. All right, so last but definitely not least, Corinne, are you ready?
I am ready. I have a cat who's menacing me, so
I have been trying so hard not to squeal. so hard.
He was content to menace me from behind the camera for the last hour, but
Oh.
you know, he decided it's the George show.
What's his name? Oh, George.
His name is George.
He's so cute. Anyway, I'll mute myself now.
Gotta love the fur babies on stream.
Mm.
All right. So remind me of what your character's name is, Corinne?
My name is Christeria.
Christeria. All right. So now, Christeria, let me grab your character details here. You are the Siren Leviathan. You have the Good Intentions Court, and you're holding is Eaglewood Park. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about Christeria and give us a bit of a visual picture about what she looks like and what Eaglewood Park looks like.
Well, the one thing that you should probably take away from any meeting with Christeria is just what a wonderful, trustworthy person I am. Really, feel free to come to me anytime. Tell me anything that you're worried about, all of your deepest concerns or desires. I'm here to hear about all of it, and I'll help you however I can, provided you scratch my back a little bit too.
Excellent.
I am a Leviathan, and my horns look pretty similar to an antelope. They twist up and away from my head.
Awesome.
They glitter in the light. They're very, almost like a disco ball.
I love that.
And I'm only like a little bit, kind of a lot vain about those and my silver wings that fall down my back.
Very nice.
I'm vain enough about them that they're basically out all the time.
Okay, so you're always rocking the horns and the wings.
Yeah.
Now, are they like adorned in jewelry and whatnot as well?
Oh no, they're gorgeous enough on their own.
Okay, no need for jewelry.
No need to gild the lily.
Wonderful. All right, and so what's the general theme of Eaglewood Park and kind of like the general vibe of your courtiers around Eaglewood Park?
Eaglewood Park is a little more Eagleton and a little less Pawnee, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, I love that.
So it's pretty fancy. It's got lots of fountains and well manicured lawns and fruit trees that no one's allowed to pick from. The centerpiece of Eaglewood Park is an enormous arch, similar to the St. Louis Arch, except for this one glitters in the light and matches my horns. No one's allowed in the arch, except for by special invitation of me or my most
Okay.
trusted caretakers. That's where I keep my hoard.
So nice. Very exclusive hoard arch. Love it.
It has a reputation, the park does, for being the kind of place that you can go to get any kind of desire fulfilled, whether it's you're looking to score a particular substance or you're looking for a very secluded private area to take care of secluded private needs. Whatever you want, you can find it here at Eaglewood Park.
Wonderful. I love that. Okay, so tell me a little bit about your spouse.
Her name is Echo. She's gorgeous. She's a deva. Her aspect is the eagle, and that manifests in very gray, feathery hair that runs down the length of her back.
Nice.
We're newlyweds. We're in the honeymoon period.
Okay. Very nice and very fitting for Eaglewood Park as well.
Mhm.
So what's your spouse's role in your court?
She and I get along quite well, actually. She calls it scheming. I call it planning. And we start every day with a little planning session over cups of cafe con leche in our arch.
Wonderful. Okay. So now tell me a little bit about like the daily routine of your court. So what kind of stuff do you do on the daily to keep things running well?
Well, as I mentioned, I do a lot of planning with Echo. So in order to keep up the reputation of Eaglewood Park, we plan a lot of events there throughout the day and throughout the evening. Lots of upscale little parties, lots of small competitions, various things to draw in people. I like to have a lot of attendance in the park and be able to get to know people, what they're wanting, what they're thinking about. That way I can invite them to smaller, more intimate parties and get to know them a little bit better and see what type of role they might play in my court.
Okay. I got a lot of traits already picked up from that. So very nice. So question regarding the new province law. So you're in the honeymoon phase with your spouse. How has that affected your relationship? And do you guys respect the new province law of keeping things more casual and non-exclusive?
We do. We're not really bonded enough yet for that to be a problem.
Okay. Very good. So now, in addition to the way that you kind of have your daily routine, is there any of your traits that you think apply to running your day-to-day court that would apply for your court challenge?
Let's see. Well, depending on what the challenge looks like, I am a wonderful planner. My planning skills are known throughout the realm. So I like to fancy myself that I can think a couple of steps ahead and usually have a backup plan in place or two.
Okay. Yeah, that would definitely apply. So the challenge is basically anything that you think applies to your leadership and, running the court. And
Gotcha.
that can apply to your spouse as well if they're close in the handlings of your court.
Yeah. One of my overarching themes is meddling in other people's desires. And so
Okay.
that plays a pretty key role in the way that I run my court. If you behave well and you help me achieve my goals, I'll help you reach your desires. And if you
Okay.
misbehave or you fail me, I will take the thing you desire away.
Okay, nice. Very both ends of the spectrum there. Okay. Now, do you have any court afflictions that you think hinder your day-to-day court?
There weren't any listed. Should I make some up?
No, if you don't have any listed, then you're good. Not all courts start with afflictions.
I mean, unless you count my incompetent little courtiers, then no, I don't have any.
I actually, so since you do have some of those, I'm actually counting that as one affliction for this scene. But that puts your potential already at a whopping 5 still. So let's go ahead and roll for your court challenge. So that is going to be, so 3 puts them up to D8. So you're rolling 2D10 and a D8.
2D10 and a D8. Okay.
And if you guys are wondering how I got the potential, based on what you pitched me and what you described on your day-to-day activities, I've been looking at your traits here, and like any of them that you kind of tick off in your description, I've been adding to your potential. So go ahead and roll it up.
I don't think I rolled very well.
Oh no! 5s, and so 5 and up is a success.
I got 1 success.
1 success. Okay. All right. So you are going about your business with your court. Things are going pretty well, business as usual. And you see a very special guest, come into your court here in the park. She comes walking in. She's very recognizable to you. She's from your own bloodline. She's a notable court holder in Bridgewood. It's Lady Visariana Melkart. She's got a handful of courtiers following her, and she's got a very nice, long, elegant dress. She's got some courtiers tailing it to make sure it doesn't get stepped on. She's got people following her, ready to fan her off if she's too hot. And she catches eye of you and comes approaching. Oh, how's it going, dear? So good to see you.
Wonderful to see you, my lady.
You as well. Now, I have come here because I hear that you are quite adept at maintaining substances. Is that right?
That is one of my many skills.
Very good. I see that it runs in the bloodline. It just makes me so happy. I love mixing and concocting them. It's a bit of a passion of mine.
Quite a lucrative passion.
Indeed. Now, I am here for a bit of a favor, but also an invite. I'm going to be holding a very lavish party here. And I'm also making it a bit of a cross-court competition. I'm going to be doing some challenges for a bit of a prize. And if I'm going to be honest, we'll be candid. We're family somewhere down the line. Yes. The main purpose of it, I would like to test some of my concocted elixirs. I've got some new recipes I'd like to try. And I would like to invite you to be one of the competitors. Of course, keeping it in line, representing House Melkart. If we can keep a winner in the family, all the better. But I do need a bit of a favor as well. I'm hoping that you can provide some of your substances to help with the supply and demand once I get the recipes right.
I would be honored to assist you with this desire.
Oh, good. I was hoping you might say that. She's going to snap her fingers, and one of her courtiers is going to give you like a rolled up scroll. And now that should be everything that I require for it. Now, will you be accepting the invite, of course?
Oh, of course.
Good. I can give you a little bit of a heads up of which ones I think have better potential. They're all performance enhancing in one way or another, and they have some pleasurable after effects as well, I hope. They're not very well tested yet, but some of them more than others. I'll make sure you get one of the safer ones, of course.
I appreciate that. And may Echo accompany me to the competition?
Oh, yes, of course.
Wonderful.
No, he won't be representing the house. It's one from each court. So you will be representing, but he can be there supporting you in any ways that spouses can.
Wonderful. She'll be there.
Would you mind taking a look at that list there and making sure you can accommodate?
Yes. I unroll the list.
When you unroll the list, it like drops to the ground. It is like a burdensome list of like expensive reagents and components that she's going to need.
I have excellent control of my emotions, so I let no surprise show on my face whatsoever.
Good. No, I imagine that won't be a problem.
No, not at all. And
I will tell you I can be a powerful
daintily
ally
relaxed.
if you accommodate.
Oh, I know, my lady.
Very good. And maybe if you do good enough, maybe we can even work out getting you the first batch to supply around.
I would be in favor of this.
Oh, good. You're such a dear. I'm so glad that we have a strong representation such as yourself around the bloodline. Now, I do think I'll be taking a walk around the park and seeing what you've got going on here. I don't visit quite enough, do I?
Well, we have a wonderful buffet today in the main gazebo. Definitely going to want to try the cream puffs.
Sounds delightful. I think I will.
But don't try them if you're driving yourself home.
No, of course I'm ready to not do that. She kind of gestures to like her 8 courtiers that are escorting her. Very good. Well, I will see you next week then. Just below the list of reagents, there's the details on the event. So we'll be seeing you there.
Wonderful.
Dress nicely. Bring your best performance.
I shall.
Very good. And she will go explore the park, and that will wrap up your pilot episode. So your guys' challenges you rolled, basically those of you who rolled poorly got either high demands or some more dangerous, riskier people to work with, as those of you who rolled well, not so much, and you got a little bit more reward on the line. And we will kind of play that out at the next episode. So your characters all look awesome. Good job, everybody. Did you guys like it? What do you guys think of the system?
Oh,
Like that.
fun!
It's so good.
I can't wait to play. I'm
Right.
really devastated we have to wait 2 weeks.
I know, right?
I know.
didn't think of it that way. Well, that'll give you guys some time to look through the rule book. You guys can look through your customs, kind of flesh out your stuff a little bit more. It should be fun. So general theme of it that we have planned, we're going to do a little bit of a cross-court competition that you guys all got involved in one way or another. So yeah, thank you very much, chat. Hope you guys enjoyed that as well. We typically try to not do character creation on stream, but I think this one's so fun. Like, I don't know, I like it. I think it's kind of unique. I think it's kind of an appeal of this game system in general. So I kind of wanted to show that off. We have a giveaway. So let's go ahead and do a last call. If you guys have not entered the giveaway, Corinne, you are a guest. You're eligible as well. If you want to hit that hashtag, or not hashtag, exclamation point, enter, like, yeah, go ahead and enter. We're giving away a copy of Defiant. If you guys have already purchased it, this is by Game Machinery. It's on DriveThruRPG. I believe I have a link. Let me go ahead and toss this in here for you guys if anybody is interested in purchasing it for themselves as well. Link on DriveThru.
Wait, thanks for RPing with me in chat.
Oh, it's funny.
Oh, yes.
Were you guys RPing in chat?
Yes.
That's awesome. I love that. Okay.
Don't make me put you under my spell.
I got Dorian vibes and that freaked me out.
No, he's much more competent than Dorian.
It's true. But the way he's just talking, like, that can be arranged. I was like, oh.
There we go. I renamed the channel where I stuck this link and then I couldn't find it, but here it is. DriveThruRPG. It is a wonderful game. So yeah, last call for enters. Hashtag, why do I keep saying hashtag?
I
Excellent.
don't know.
Enter to enter the giveaway. I'm going to give like 10 more seconds, then we're going to close the giveaway. So slap him in there now if you guys want a chance to win one. And yeah, again, we'll be continuing this in a couple weeks on December 21st. So, all right, Magical Admin, who is running our production, will you please close the giveaway?
Magical admin.
Draw us a winner.
Dun, dun,
Yay,
dun.
magical admin.
We need to like get a drum roll. Oh, you did win.
Corinne, you did win. So wonderful,
Congratulations.
Thank
Yes,
you. I feel like I got a prize on top of a prize because I got
Right.
split.
Right. So, keep it for yourself, give it for a gift. Wonderful thing. So we'll make sure we get your email on that, and we'll get that to you. So yeah, thank you so much, chat. I think that's pretty much all we have to go over. Again, we'll continue on 12/21. So if you would like to support our channel, please follow or subscribe on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or any of those areas. You can also show your support by purchasing dice and accessories from one of our affiliate partners. After all, if you're going to help us, you might as well get some fancy math rocks out of it. You'll find those links as well as our Patreon in the discount section below, or if you're watching back on YouTube, in the description. If you're already doing that or all of those things, thanks a ton. Your support means the world. Again, our guest today was Corinne. She has an awesome new book coming out. Did I ask you already, where's the best place people can find that book if they want to check it out?
You can find that book on Amazon, or you can get signed copies on my website. Easiest way to get to my website, since my name is kind of hard, is thewordynerd.com.
Thewordynerd.com.
I love that.
Let's see. I'm gonna drop that in chat really quick. Thewordynerd.com. Did I typo? I typo everything. There we go. There it is. Check out her books. I've read a handful of them. They are very good. So thank you for guesting with us. It was very fun having you, and we'll have you again for the next session. So yes, indeed. So yeah, everybody go take a long rest. Go, go be devout to those Sephra. Keep everything safe, and we will catch you guys next time. Good night, everybody.
Bye.